Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Tour Ramblings, where I will ramble on for probably 3 hours as I can sit there and say, man, there's a hair that's out of place. Look at that. Gotta clip that hair right there. Anyway, I will ramble on for probably 3 hours. I feel like maybe there's not a lot of news, but there's definitely a lot to talk about with San Diego Comic-Con coming up. We'll touch base on some of the stuff that we're going to be seeing. And we'll talk more about what is shown off, let's say, on next Monday. But there's a lot of stuff to get through today. So anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys all for tuning in here to say hi. A quick shout out to Same Time Toys. They're actually doing a live right now because Shane and, well, I guess it's Shane's channel, but it's Shane and Woody. They hit 900 subs. So congratulations to them. I know they work really hard, and I'm hoping that they will be part of the 36 hour Toys for Tots stream. So quickly, I want to mention that. Oh, did it go away? God damn it. I had it all set up, and I guess once I hit live, it went away. So let's do this. I want to ask you guys quickly, what name do you guys want to go by going forward? So I didn't realize that it would erase it. Kind of forgot that I had it up here. So anyway, going forward for the 36-hour stream, I want to ask you guys, what do you want to go by? So we're going to type this in here, 36-hour stream, 36-hour Toys for Tots. I had this all set up and didn't realize that it would wipe it out. So 36-hour Toys for Tots stream should be called. All right. So here are the options that we're going to come up with. We were Streamathon last year. I didn't want to put my name into it. And that's just because I didn't think that, I'm doing something for charity, but everyone kept saying they wanted Punkathon, but I was originally Streamathon. So we're going to have Streamathon. We're going to have Punkathon as another option here. And I do apologize. I wanted to explain it before I put this in. So, of course, it's not done. Punkathon. We're going to have Streamorama. And I probably shouldn't even put this. But the fourth option, because so many people have asked, and I think they really do like it, is Punkapalooza. So here we go. Whatever it ends up with, that's it going forward. All right. It's going to be the second annual. If you're new here and you're wondering, what is this 36-hour Streamathon? Well, last year I did a 36-hour stream for Toys for Tots. Everything that got raised went to Toys for Tots, do Sergeant Reds. I haven't talked to Sergeant Reds this year, but I'm sure they're going to do it. And if not, we'll go elsewhere. So what we are going to do is we're going to talk about that in a little bit, because I thought I was going to just be able to say, hey, there's a poll up there. But I was way off. So anyway, quickly, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Again, we're going to come back to that in probably about 15 minutes. So I had a really good weekend. Thank you to everyone who jumped on Punk's Pit. If you're a member, you got to jump on Punk's Pit. I think we went just over 5 hours. And then, of course, we always chat a little bit after we go, after the live goes off. Saturday, I went to the gym, and after I got done, I called my daughter up, who was at her mom's, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Want to go see Superman? No. All right, I'm going to come get you. We're going to go see Superman. I don't want to go. We can go tomorrow. No, I don't want to go tomorrow. So I kind of forced her to go with me. So we went and saw Superman, which was enjoyable. It's not great. It's also not awful. I have to say, I would have jumped down with Pop yesterday, but again, I'm trying to decompress. on the weekends when at all possible. I do have to say, I think the casting was pretty good. Also, I was not really caring for Lois Lane until the whole. If you've seen it, then you know the little line she says about punk rock, and I'm like, oh, she knows. And then Sunday, I went out and I got toys. Believe it or not, they put toys out on the shelves, and I went out to Target and I was able to pick up the Thanos Psylocke 2-pack along with that Breaker, which is a Target exclusive. They had firefighters and everything. So anyway, that was my weekend in a nutshell for the most part. And we'll come back around. But anyway, let's say hi to the chat. There's 58 people watching. So please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. You know what to do. All right, let's say hi to everyone. And we have Mike Gold jumping in here saying, finally got my Rattler today. You just want to rub it in? Because I'm still waiting on a notification. MTC is here. We have Beardy McBeardison, Johnny Areno. We have Michael Jean Fleming, David R. U.S. Combat Dojo. We got Mendoza. We have Ronnie Trickshot, who is in the house. We have a 3-star draw. Dustin Jeffrey. We have Matthew Matson saying, and we're all waiting. And then you know what Matthew really loves for some reason? That's right. There he is. We have Rat Toys, Galaxy, Plastic Fantastic, Cobra 8877. Yo, good evening, everyone. I don't remember ever seeing your name unless if you've changed your name. So either way, thank you for joining in here. Love having new people along with Solid Raven. I feel like I'm going to say that I've never seen you here before. Matthew's going to be like, dude, this guy's here all the time. Snow Wolf, GI Bro. We have Cal Shave. We have Rowdy Riles, who I will be on this Saturday at 8 p.m. Chatting with her over on her channel. So I will start promoting it. You know, I'll get around to promoting it. But tune in over there. Go subscribe. Do all that other good stuff. Don't worry. You guys will hear more than enough about it soon enough. We have Derek Holloman. We have Action Figs, another one of my moderators. Krusty O'Crow. We have Jay Astro. MCR. Did I say MCR? Maybe I saw him a little bit while ago. Plastic Skulls is here. Ronnie Trickshot saying, nah, that shirt is beautiful. Thanks for representing. I want to say this, and I haven't told you this. Collar may be a little bit snug around my neck, but everything else, it fits awesome. So you did a damn good job. Honestly, that little, that's on the wrong side. No, it really fits really, really good. I really do like it. Sabir is here. Clint Jorgensen. Don't let him tell you that his name is Jorgensen. That's not how you pronounce it. Ray Black has joined us. Gady's Toys, who Andrew, you joined me on Thursday for Thursday with the friend. We had to wait because he got tickets to Superman, so we had to push it back and swap things. Andrew, honestly, God, you did it was an amazing job. I had a great conversation. And one of the things when we were talking, if you haven't watched it, I want you to go back and watch it. We were talking and he said, you know what? He goes, 2 years ago when they asked me to do this, I'm not really good with speaking. Dude, you have such a good command and you are intriguing. Just the way you talk to everyone and the way you were doing it. Seriously, you're natural, and I had such a good time talking and really getting to know you because I've never really chatted with you before. So, Johnny, did I say Johnny Reno? I'll say Johnny Reno again. He has sent me enough O-ring stuff that he can get as many Johnny Renos in the house. Richard Burns has joined us. We have JLS Comics, who I've said this numerous times. If you're not following him on Instagram or on Facebook, on YouTube, if you're not following his stuff on YouTube, he doesn't do lives really or anything, but he does breakdowns of Marvel characters and G.I. Joe characters, second to none, and it's a good 15 to 20 minute breakdown. It's probably shorter than me shouting out everyone, but you know how I do this. And I say Derek Holloman. If I didn't, here you are again. Allison Troy, don't you hate the idea of Punkapalooza? I vote for that. Of course you do. Turk Murphy's Toy Solution. Just remember, whatever it is, that's what it is. I mean, if you're rooting on it for me, just because you think I hate it, that's on you. I specifically chose not to go with Punko. I couldn't do Punkorama because that is a whole NoFX thing that they did years and years ago. But I chose not to do Punkathon because I didn't want my name in it. Because again, it's supposed to be for the kids, it's charity. But you guys kept referring to it, and you guys even said that you wanted to change it. So that's why I'm giving you guys the option. This is your chance to now make that chance. Sean Forrester jumping in here saying, "Hey, Punk." We got Matthew Matson saying, "I got charged for the claw. No Rattler, no Snake Armor, no Trench Viper." I forgot about the I forgot about the Trench Viper. I mean, I got one, but I totally forgot that they were on order because they're like disappeared. I got charged for my claws. Also, Snake Armor, nothing. Although I believe Baldy and Action Media, that's Terry, they actually got shipping notices over the weekend, but they haven't shipped just yet. The Shark 110 is joining us. Ooh, we have Jay Toigo. We're just going Toigo. I want to say Tiago, but I know it's not Tiago. That's me going back to some skateboarding. We have a Nojin here. See, Nojin and Jay Toigo. I don't think I've seen before. I have crickets. I have trickets. I have no rattlers. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. You and me both. Odin09 has joined us. In Cobra 8877 saying, "Hey, Lawrence, I just started collecting by watching your channel. I feel like I need to say I'm sorry." I feel like I have to say I'm sorry when someone says, "Hey, I started checking your videos out. Now I'm all in on classified or whatever," because you're going to be spending a lot of money. Damon Parker jumping in here saying, "Good evening, everyone. Time for another episode of Punk's Playhouse." That sounds dirty. It sounds like it should be on like 8 Mile. Boba Fett Gaming, and that is everyone for right now. So, quickly, after saying hi to the chat, quickly, if you've been watching the channel, which I think most of you here are watching the channel, I dropped some classic reviews. Which I did last week. I dropped the Snake Eyes version 2 with Timber. We dropped Toll Booth, and did anyone ever call the bridge layer the Toss and Cross? I've never called it the Toss and Cross, but I think that's the actual name. I always called it the bridge layer. I dropped those. This week I will be dropping the Dreadnought. So the classic videos are going to be the Dreadnoughts, Torch, Ripper, and Buzzer. I just have to readjust them because I'm doing things out of order because I just got a little busy. The Royal Keeper is jumping here, and Katie's toy says the pipe layer. Oh boy. You need to go watch that show. Watch that episode, man. I had so much fun. All right. So last week, it kind of ended up being a pretty big week of stuff. So I did get the Firefighters, which I dropped shortly before last week's episode. This figure is so much better than people realize. And again, the numbers of people watching the video, I know that doesn't really translate, but we've heard people complaining about it. There's something very special about this figure. I mean, I think everyone that has it has said the exact same thing. It's really, really good. My quest to buy like every Xavier now that I find on clearance. I just want you to understand, I bought 3 more of these for $12.50 today. So I bought 2 for $17.50 on clearance. As you can see, I've already armed them up. I got this one here. All right, and then it also allowed me to do Dr. Mindslaughter with a new headpiece. But just so you guys know, if you're collecting Operation Monster Force, they have a whole bunch of accessory kits coming out, and rather than spending $40 on an extra figure, why not spend $12.50 on some of these, so you can throw it on there because the buck works and the neck peg is the same size, because I tried a few of the Operation Monster Force on there. So but yeah, quickly, Jay says, how many tiers do you guys think the slow cat will hit? I think it'll hit all three. I think it's going to hit all of them. There's going to be a boost, and there's that boost at the end for sure. Corey Fled jumping in here saying, I hope in your Dreadnoks video you talk about how your friends would always try to steal your Dreadnoks. They were difficult to find. I never had an issue. I never had an issue. I probably should have talked about how I don't think I mentioned it, but how the wastes were all different and things. I believe it was Johnny that mentioned, like, dude, you have the wrong waste on there. I had swapped all my original, well, the 4 Monkey Wrench, Buzzer, Torch, and Ripper, and I had put the wrong waist and pants on them. They had no idea, and I had them when I did the Ripper. I think the Ripper review, the classified, and I think Johnny was the one that told me that I had the wrong ones. And when I went down, I realized they were all wrong. That was a pain in the ass to figure out. Things that you change when you're a kid, and then you completely don't even realize it. All right. Also, so this Sunday, if you were watching and you kind of knew what was going to happen, Target dropped a few new things, including a Perceptor for Transformers. Again, not my thing, so I wasn't on the way, but I'll tell a little story in a second. So I did pick up this the Psylocke, who amazing looking figure. The articulation, in all honesty, it's something to be desired. I'm not overly thrilled with the articulation. And then this Thanos, which no one wanted, but I mean, no one wanted this. Yet, I gotta say, if I can find it, this picture was pretty fun. Truly doing Thanos copter right here with Cobra Commander in the background. So, I don't think anyone's going to be using this for too much until they do like maybe some photography. It's probably going to sit up there with the snapping. But I have a feeling, I just get this sneaking feeling that by the end of everything, that Thanos is what I probably do more pictures with than the actual Psylocke. Just my personal opinion. Roadkeeper says, I got 2 of those Xavier figures for $11 each 2 weeks ago. Yeah, like I said, I just bought 3 more for $12.50. If they were $17, I probably wouldn't have, but one Operation Monster Force figure is $40, and I know the gear already fits on it because I threw it on them already. So why not buy 3, because there's so many gear packs that are coming out. And then the final figure that I got, and you've probably seen it, is our Breaker. Now, I already gave him a Top Fun toy weapon because, let's be honest, all this guy has is a pistol. One thing that was pointed out, and I guess I kind of forgot, that this here was actually supposed to be for the magazine of the M16, not for the suppressor. Someone actually pointed that out to me. And I think that's because Grunt uses the exact same outfit. This is actually a really good figure. You can already see that he's going to be on a retro card. If they throw, and I think I pointed it out in the video, if they throw Stalker's web gear on him, he's already set up to be a retro, and the backpack is close enough. I know people have already kind of said, oh, but that's not the backpack he had. Dude, like, I really don't need the exact same thing of everything. Although he does not stand all that well, to be 100% honest. And we'll try and get into some of the issues. I guess that's standing. He actually fell down while I was trying to nap. I heard a thug, and I'm like, what the hell's that? Oh, Breaker. So, but you can already see that they're going to do a retro version. It is a pretty good figure. And I think one of the biggest things is that they changed the cable. So they made a thinner cable. So check it out. Again, I think you guys are going to like it if you're able to find it. I have a feeling there's going to be more, but right now I know there's a lot of hoopla, a lot of angry collectors that are yelling and screaming, wanting Target to go out of business because they can't get their toys. Honest to God, if I ever get to that point that I'm calling for a company to go out of business because I can't get my action figure, please call me out, because other people, they won't do it to people for some reason. TMH saying Thanos Alley Viper version. Yeah, kind of. He kind of does. Cole Long says that Thanos looks like he stepped right out of Marvel vs. Capcom, and that might make him blend well with the other figure. Oh, well, that's what it is. It's the Gamerverse. So it's the Gamerverse figure. So it's meant to go exactly with that, to be 100% honest. And quickly, this thing's driving me nuts. Sorry. The light's not supposed to be this dim. I mean, how can you see my teeth if the light goes this dim? So hold on, let me. There we go. My nice little light there. I just gotta highlight my teeth, right? You don't want to be a YouTuber without teeth, man. Also, yeah, and then this head here, I know everyone wants to talk about. The bubblegum head is really cool. It just sucks that Hasbro or Classified decided to use a different size neck ball joint, so that kind of sucks. Jason Steele jumping in here. Yeah, well, the breaker's on backward. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys and tell me if you guys have had an issue with this. If you're ordering from Target, use the red card. It's theirs, and I don't care. I don't know if they have a credit card. I'm assuming they probably do. Everyone does. Or you can sign up for their debit card. It goes straight to your debit, right? Just make sure you have the money. They won't continue to ping your credit card, which is a plus. And I feel like they also won't cancel the order, or at least it's a little bit harder to. So I haven't had any issues with it, but I know people have. So okay. Cole Long is asking. Okay, so let's see here. It is a different size peg than. So this is how all the classifieds are now. So the original classified were like this. A matter of fact, all the figures are like this. Valaverse is like this. Operation Monster Force, so all the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff. Their head is all like this. Classified, for some odd reason, decided to go with this really small head joint. Okay, you can see how much different it is. So if you have the old figures, you can put the old figures on this because all you need is a little bit of sticky tack. But if you don't, you're either going to have to shave down this, or you're going to have to Dremel out the inside of the head, which I don't think anyone really wants to do. So it is a weird thing for them to do. They were in the process of having some figures that had the same size. And it's really weird because it's like that on certain figures. So like certain bats have a different size neck ball joint, a neck ball, than other ones. Same with the Crimson Guard. It makes no sense. It was stupid for them to do, and I think I'm in agreement with most people. Most people in agreement with me. They shouldn't have done it. They should have just kept it how it was. So unfortunately, they didn't. Matt O'Brien jumping in here saying, "Happy effing Monday, Punk and crew." Sean Forrester says, check your back orders. Mine flipped to processing yesterday and got it today. So I think a lot, again, yeah, I think they just went on to, I think they went into back ordering just as they were trying to ship them out. Again, it was such a mess. Like, people really, really wanted these figures. But I want to talk about that. And I think we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on Circle of Jerks. So tune in for 2 times of me talking about it, but at least I can bounce it off other people. All right, so quickly, let's give some thank yous. As I said, thank you to Andrew Gady's Toys. Had a great time with him on Thursday with a friend. Everyone who jumped on Punk's Pit, including Darren, Matthew, Ed, Viper Scout, who somehow I forgot to send a link out to, Tony's Figs, and so many others. Again, you guys know who you are. I appreciate it. You truly do make things, better for me when you guys are jumping in, and I absolutely love it. This week, I'm going to be having Kyle, Action Figure Addict 112. Well, other than my daughter, he may be the youngest person that I will have interviewed yet. It's really good to see guys in their 20s that are getting into classified. I really didn't mean to hit that. Hit the space bar and it automatically hit it. It's good to see younger people, and I know he's been in it for a little bit. He's bouncing all over. So check him out for sure. And like I mentioned, this Saturday at 8 p.m., Rowdy Riles, I will be on with her, and then probably after that, I'll be jumping on to Oz's Clubhouse. He's going to be doing a 24-hour stream dedicated to San Diego Comic-Con. I think he's going to try and have people come on from San Diego Comic-Con that might be there. Just again, he did it last year. It's pretty fun. So I'll be jumping on there to help him a little bit. Maybe give him a little bit of a break, a breather after that. But I got my daughter, so it's difficult. You do that much, you really have to plan it all out. So quickly, we have Kenzo's Creations jumping in and saying, "What's up, punks and pals?" All right. So, speaking of 36 hours or 24 hours, we're going to talk about the 36-hour stream. So, as of right now, I have it up here. If you're looking, you're just tuning in, there's 57 votes right now. Last year, when I decided to do this 36-hour Toys for Tots stream, everything goes to Toys for Tots. We went through Sergeant Reds. I haven't talked to John and D. I'm assuming they'll want to do it again. Hopefully they do. If not, then we'll have to go somewhere else, but we won't get as much of a discount. I called it the Streamathon because I really didn't feel right naming it after myself. It was for charity, and I was bringing on a lot of different guests, hosts, different shows to do stuff with. Everyone continued to call it Punkathon. People said they even wanted to change to Punkathon, and it ended up being one of those things where I was like, you know what? What should we do? People started calling Punkapalooza. I'm not a huge fan of that, but enough people had asked for it. I said, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do a poll, ask everyone, and I'll let you guys kind of decide. It seems like, I'm looking at it, Streamathon only 9% and Streamorama only 2%. 56% want Punkathon or 34% want Punkapalooza. Again, that's you guys asking for me to put my name in it. Again, I was not a huge fan of that. But it's what you guys want to do. So, quickly, here is Toy Optics. That poll is missing the best option, steampunk. Well, you can only get 4 options, and or streampunk. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think that one would win. Speaking of Toy Optics, I actually have everything right here, and one of my co-hosts on Circle of Jerks has the hours now, but he is trying to hit that mark to get monetized of 1,000. He's sitting at 657. So please click that link. Subscribe to David Speck Toy Optics. It's hard to hit 1,000. It really is, man. So please hit that link. I'm gonna try and go back to every week pulling up another YouTuber that is probably below 1,000, and try and push them as close to 1,000 as we can get to. The more people that I see that are sitting around like 990, I love to do it because then I can take credit for getting them fully monetized because I have a huge ego. So anyway, I was going to talk about that after, but because he's already here, I figured I might as well. So please hit that. Well, if you don't put out videos, it's really hard to hit 100. And Toy Optics, thank you, Sir Streampunk. But anyway, so the way this goes, and the dates for this are going to be October 24th and 25th. It's a Friday going into Saturday. So from noon on Friday the 24th, going all the way to midnight on the 25th. And I'll go over, and a matter of fact, what ends up happening, at least what happened last year. I'm assuming it'll be the same thing. Ed, Oz, those guys will run it. I'll probably stay on. I think I stayed on to about 2 in the morning. And then I just crashed. So the way that it works is anything that I make on the channel from that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll go to Toys for Tots. Now, Toys for Tots, they have to collect their toys before December, because obviously they have to distribute them all. And now this is all for the Detroit area. And John's been working with the Marines, because he's a former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine, I believe. But anyway, he's been working with them. So I thought it was just perfect to team up with him. So everything that I make goes directly to it. So any super chats that you send, that's what you're going to see. It all goes to it. If you're like, hey, I don't want YouTube to take any of the money, well, I open up my PayPal, and you can just send me stuff directly to my PayPal. Last year, I know a lot of people were still a little nervous about doing that. Obviously, all that money goes directly to me, and then obviously can go to there. I think a lot of people they kind of get nervous over that, because like, hey, what if this guy just bolts? Listen, I have a lot more to lose than making a few $1,000s, right? I mean, I built a lot. I put so much into this channel. I have a lot more to lose if I was just a bolt, right? So I think I'm trustworthy enough that you guys can trust me there. Joe Fan 84 is jumping in here. We have Nolan, which finally makes his Toy Tube official 33 minutes into here. And then I did see Tony's Figs jumping in here, who was over celebrating the 900 subs for Same Time Toys. All right. So, like I said, I have to do it in October because YouTube doesn't pay to the following month. So rather than do it in November, we do everything in October. This way I'm paid for it. I can, pay Sergeant Reds. We raised just over $3,000 last year. $3,000 and where did it go? $3,000 and I only know $3,027. All right. I don't know if you can see that here. Let's see here. $3,027. All right. That's how much we spent in toys. This is the whole receipt of everything that we purchased. And it can't be used stuff. It can't be old stuff. It all has to be relatively new stuff. G.I. Joe Classified, Marvel Legends, McFarlane, Masters of the Universe, obviously Barbie. He has a lot of girl toys, because obviously girls need toys too. So this is where it all goes to. It's for a great cause. I've said this before. I, as a kid, I had the USS Flag. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story. I got the flag. I got 8 shipwrecks for Christmas one year. Again, I never had to go without. All right. I was relatively spoiled, I guess you could say. My kids have never had to go without. But there's a lot of kids in this world, they have to go without. And not all of it is because they have bad parents either. And even if they do have bad parents, they shouldn't have to go without. But either way, these kids shouldn't have to go without. And if that means me sitting here in this chair for 36 plus hours to raise money for Toys for Tots, it's a small little thing for me to do. So it is the one time that I will beg and plead for super chats, or beg and plead for you guys to send money to my PayPal. I won't do it to go to a toy convention. I won't do it because I can't afford this vacation, which is a toy convention. I'll never do that. If I can't afford to go, then I won't go. But for something like this, I will beg and plead. And I think what's actually pretty cool, and let's see, how does this thing, how do we see? You can now add where you can ask for, oh yeah, your goal. So like you can do like 10 super chats, and you can set the timer. And so like you can set the timer like this here and be like, there you go. Share celebrating. See, you do like toys for tots. So like you hit something like this. So the way we're going to be doing it is it's 36 hours, but after 12 hours, YouTube hides the stream. And we found this out because when Oz did his 24-hour stream the month before, well, it was hidden. None of us could find it. We couldn't figure out why. So if you don't have a direct link, well, guess what? You're screwed. So we'll be doing this in like 10 to 11 hour blocks. So there'll be four different channel or 4 different streams going on. I need to kind of hide this here. There'll be 4 different streams, so you have to bounce, and we'll let you know when when it's time to bounce from one to another. But again, my goal is to make $1,000 each stream. That's $4,000. We have 81 people watching right now. I'm sitting at what 7,300 subs. Now I know they're not all active subs. There's people that also roll in. There's other bigger YouTubers that can also promote it. So the other thing that I wanted to do, and this is what I wrestled with last year, trying to figure out, is I can't sit up here and talk, whether you guys believe it or not, for 36 hours. So I wanted to bring people on. And the question was that I want to reach out to these bigger YouTube channels, these designers and stuff like that. And the question was, yeah, it would be great, but what about all the little guys that are watching me? All the guys that are working their way up. And they've supported me. And that's really what I love doing. That's why I do Thursday with the Friend, right? So my idea was to take other guys' shows and put it on my channel for that one day. They can promote it. Hopefully they get a little bit. So what we'll be doing is having specific shows dropped on the channel when I'll be on it the whole time. Well, almost the whole time. And we'll be doing their idea of a show. So I've already talked to Circle of Jerks. I think we're going to do 6 to 8 on that Friday. And then right after that, we'll be Backyard Battlefield, if all things work, from 8 to 10. So it's one of those things where you're going to have a bunch of different channels in their actual program, their show, whatever they do. But throughout that, it won't just be like that. You'll be able to jump on if you want. So if somebody wants to just jump on, there'll be hour blocks that, hey, you know what? We just have people on. We talk about toys, talk about what's going on, maybe what's new, what's showing up, all that good stuff. I had everything kind of scheduled last year, and 100% honest, it went smoother than I could have imagined. Everyone was super respectful when like it was time to start another show. Like we were like kind of talking like, hey, well, I think you're going to be starting. We're going to jump off. Super happy with that. So I think this year it'll be even that much smoother. So again, it's time to start the process. It's time to start just mentally getting ready for it. So the Toy Optic says, did you clear this with Baldy's mom? Well, I did send it in the group chat to find out what you guys think. It's up to Baldy to ask his mom if it's okay. Hopefully she really likes me, right? I think she said, I'm so handsome. That Larry, he's so handsome. Liquid Identity jumping in here saying, will there be a link to donate to Toys for Tots directly? No, because I mean, you can do that either way. And the reason why I do that is like Toys for Tots deals with specific people. So it's not like, again, and I fully understand people might be like, hey, how do I know you're going to do this? Again, here's my receipt from last year. All right. And I don't think John would let me use his name also, but I also feel like I've earned the respect for you guys to trust me that, again, if I fucked you over for $3,000, this channel would be no more. And is it really worth it? No, it's not, because I enjoy what I do. But I do understand, but it because of how Toys for Tots works and how the Marines work, I'm sure they have a link that you can donate like that, but that kind of seems to defeat the purpose of Toys for Tots. You're supposed to donate the toys. The Marines pick it up. They celebrate your place or whatever. So that's what we're going to be doing going into, I'm starting to do it now. You have to mentally prepare. It's not something you can just jump on. We're not young anymore. Last year we had a blast. I was so happy with how everything turned out. And I'm going to have, again, I won't have all the exact same people coming back on. We'll have some new people, but we'll still have a lot of the same faces, obviously. And I am hoping, in case you guys missed it, if Ronnie Trickshot is here, if Shark Eyes is here, I'm hoping that we will get that we can do the 4 to 6 again a.m. because they're in Australia, so it works out a little bit better from them. And then after that, I hand it over to Ed. He runs it in the morning, so I can take a nap. If it was maybe 24 hours, I might be able to hang, but we're old. I'm fucking old. No way. There's Ronnie right there. Oh man, Lucy Greasy Red Light Hour. The whole show was awesome last year. 4 a.m. when you're like, who's gonna be up at 4 a.m.? Hey, the Australian guys. Time is completely different. Does this work out for you? Yes, we're gonna take it off. Now, if you guys know Adam, Shark Eyes, he's the one that's more boisterous. Look at his Instagram, you'll see it. I was not expecting Ronnie to show up with a fucking bullhorn or an air horn or whatever that thing and start fucking blowing it with some of the loudest music I've ever heard. And they had it all planned out. And that's what I absolutely loved, because the whole point is I'm doing all this. I need other people to design their show. So I'm not trying to design every single show. Go back and watch that part. I would go back and watch the whole thing. But if you go back and watch that, you will fucking die. It's something else. So I think Ronnie is trying to say, yes, he's down. I'm assuming Shark Eyes will say the same thing. I sure hope that he will. So that's it. As of right now, I would say we're looking at it being called Punkathon. But again, there's only 69 votes. We usually get way more than this. I wanted to explain it. I'll probably explain it again a little bit throughout the show, because we have 84 people watching. God knows there's a lot of people that roll through here throughout it. There's Gun Bunny Customs. So again, other than the Circle of Jerks, and Darren, who I spoke to, and I'm assuming Crow is going to be on board with that. And then I know Woody said Smoking Joe's is down. And I'm going to try and keep Smoking Joe's, I believe. I got to make sure. I think they do their show on Saturday anyway, so I kind of want to keep it in the same time slot if possible. Toy Optic says Shark Eyes is going to have a live Barbara Walters style interview with some dude named Chad. I doubt that. Liquid Identity says it's too bad YouTube made mint with 30% of the super chats on the top. At what point can you do a recognized fundraiser on YouTube? Well, Matthew looked into that, and that is you have to be at 10,000 subs. You have to be 10,000 subs. There are some things. There are some things, and that's why I did the PayPal. Because if someone's like, "Hey, you know what? I don't get me wrong. I love that people can see exactly how much is being thrown up there, right? But you're absolutely right. It sucks that they take it, and you have to have 10,000 subs. Hopefully by next year we can hit that, so we don't have to worry about it. But like I said, I put my PayPal up there because I feel like I made a name for myself. I'm trustworthy enough that you guys will know that I'm not going to fuck anyone over. Again, I have way too much to lose to fuck someone over for 3,000. Now, when I make 300,000, you may never fucking see me again. So, but that's the reason why. If we do PayPal, then you don't have to worry about it, right? So, Steve Martin jumping in here saying, late as fuck, sup people. Steve Martin, if you guys are not paying attention to this guy, I don't know if you do anything else on YouTube or so much on Instagram. I know you messaged me on Instagram. This guy, I don't know where the hell you came from. Honestly, God. Like, he came in the circle of jerks, and he has some really quick quips. Very funny. Dude makes me laugh on almost every comment. We got Sherwood Crump jumping in here saying, "What's up, everybody?" Whew. Joe Fan 84 says, "I like Punkapalooza." Well, it's at 40%. I mean, I can't believe Punkathon and Punkapalooza are like that close. No one cares about the other ones. Nate Nakama saying, "Aloha, checking in from work today, probably mostly on the replay crew." Hey, it's all good. I appreciate anyone taking some time to watch little old me. Little old me. And then we have James Lucas jumping in here. We have Bobby Wool jumping in here. So, all right. And Grizzlehorn, look at this. Still no Rattlers for me. I know we weren't talking about it, but I needed to bitch. No, I have no problem. I have no problem. Dude, if someone walked up to me on the street and said, "Hey, I've seen you on Facebook, or I've seen you on YouTube. You do fucking G.I. Joe. I have no fucking Rattlers either. I'm okay with it." I fully get it. And then Allison is saying, "Punkapalooza, let's make it happen, y'all." Again, I don't know why you guys want that so much, but either way. 610 jumping in here saying, "What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe. Gonna have to catch the replay. Family time, yo Joe Daddy out." All right. So, kind of running out of time because you know how this all goes. But quickly, I want to talk about the Target debacle. Again, we kind of know what happens with Target, but I also got to say, if you don't get your toys, it's time to stop crying about it on the internet. I see numerous people making comments about it that are mad about it. And when I see how you are, whether it be on Instagram or YouTube, in your rants, whether it's in your comments that you leave, it makes me think, how do you treat the employees when you go in there? Because don't tell me that you treat the employees well when I'm watching you. I think there's plenty of YouTubers out there and Instagrammers and just social mediaites, right? That after a while you're like, all right, is this shtick of yours is not just a shtick. It's part of who you are. Kenzo says, "I'm so mad. I forgot why though." And it's like, all right, man, they didn't have your toy. You want to talk about fucking first world problems that they don't have your toy. Just fucking get over it. You're going to be able to find it elsewhere. We've all gone through this 100 times, right? Every now and then, yeah, you end up getting screwed and you have to spend a little bit extra to get things. But for the most part, you're able to find it. And if you're not doing reviews, even if you are doing reviews, you shouldn't be mad. But if you're not doing reviews, why do you need it like right away? What does it matter if you get it first or not? I mean, is your life that pathetic that if you don't have the fucking toy before everyone, I can only imagine the fucking spoiled, rotten brat you were when you were a kid. All right. And there are many of you out there. All right. That you act like this fucking spoiled, rotten kid because Target didn't have your fucking toy. They make it difficult. Fuck, man. Seriously. Like, be a fucking man and say, you know what? Hey, I'll get it later. And maybe I don't get it. I don't know. And maybe I have to pay a little bit of extra. Again, we're not entitled to anything. We don't deserve anything. We earn things. We go out and we try and, make it happen. Right? That's how it should be. Sean Forrester said, I'm so tired of folks putting down the employees, calling them thieves and scalpers. Again, there are some. I mean, there's no doubt that there are some. And during the whole Cobra Island thing and the pandemic, it was fucking huge. But again, like if I see how you act on social media, I can only imagine how you fucking act to an employee that can't talk back to you. That's the biggest thing. The employee can't talk back to you. So you're probably super rude to them, or you throw a little hissy fit when they're like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't go in the back. I know there's customer service, but after you're hounded so much, and Hot Wheel collectors and Pokemon collectors have made it fucking awful, it creates a fucking issue. So, quick, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, Matthew, I did that just to show you guys. So Matthew was asking about the super chat goal up there. I probably I thought I mentioned. So I created a super goal up there because I'm going to do that when we do the stream, like when we do the Toys for Tots stream. I'm just trying to show you, like, you can put a goal up there, and for each stream, I'm going to be putting up a goal for $1,000. That's what our goal is going to be. It helps trying people. Yeah, Matthew was asking So I'm not asking anyone to donate or send super chats right now. I'm not that person. I was saying that during the only time you're going to see me beg for super chats or anything like that is during that. So please don't just ignore that. I was just trying to show you what it looks like in case you haven't seen it. All right. Tripwire 788 in here. Even if you're doing reviews, you don't need it right away. It helps. I'm not going to sit there and lie, but there's no reason to act like you are, like a child about it. I didn't get Breaker first. There are a plethora of other people that have gotten Breaker. So my Breaker is doing absolutely wonderful. Can't complain at all about it. Hi, it's me jumping in here saying, yes, my life is pathetic. I watch a punk with toys. Very true. I mean, you're fucking not wrong there. Cobra Commander jumping in here saying, what's up, gang? 3 Stars says, what happens when the goal is met? Cookies. Everyone gets a cookie. Blood Old jumping in here saying, hello, Joe fans. But again, this doesn't just go for Target. It goes for everything. The San Diego Comic-Con. Another thing that people have to understand is that there was someone who posted a very lengthy comment on my review. And unfortunately, if you're gonna post it, then I feel I can talk about it. But have an understanding that Hasbro Pulse doesn't need to put them up. This is something that they ask or tell the provider, hey, we want to put up an allotted amount for your exclusive. The way the exclusives, I believe, work is that, hey, Target, Walmart, whoever say, hey, we want an exclusive because we want people to come in, foot traffic through our store, or just people come in. So this is what they do. And when you have people are doing that, then it works out. So this is what they're doing, and it helps to grow the brand. So Hasbro Pulse doesn't have to put anything up there. JLS Comics says, Punk just reviewed the bridge layer, which came out 40 years ago. Proof you don't have to rush to get the review out right away. Very true. Very true. And yeah, I have Breaker. See, look, he has no head though. Look, there's no head. Come on, I know you saw my review. Look, there he is with bubblegum. The bubblegum one is really cool. It is a really cool head sculpt. Great idea. I'm glad they went with that. But it just feels like we as a society have just become such big whining crybabies. Now, again, I know what someone's going to say. You realize you're doing a stream bitching about people who bitch. And you're absolutely correct. But I feel like I'm bitching for the proper reasons. Just like when I talk about people that flood my streams, and then I got guys like Ronnie Trickshot saying, hey, didn't this guy just complain about people filling his Facebook streams with useless information, and now he's dropping all these pictures of him working out? Well, again, when you look this good, you want people to see it. Remember that, Ronnie. I don't need to tell Ronnie to remember, because Ronnie took his shirt off and he posed against GI Bro at Joe Fest, and it was amazing. Bitchception, I like that. Tripwire says, I didn't see it. What the fuck? When? Now I gotta go watch. I dropped it yesterday, so it's been over a day. Ronnie Tricks up saying, I'm only complaining because the gym selfies make me hard. Well, hey, as Spec said in the comments, I like what I like. But either way, again, you can't tell me hey, I treat the employees well when I'm watching your act on social media, because I think that tells me more of who you are than anything. Graf says, Punk obviously doesn't try to collect WWE superstars from Walmart's. Forgive him. No, I do not. And again, it's not just G.I. Joe collectors. All right. We've all heard about the Pokemon collectors. We all know about Hot Wheel collectors. The employees will tell you that the Hot Wheel collectors are the worst. And if you've never been at Target or Walmart right when they open and seen a Hot Wheel collector sitting on the floor rummaging through Hot Wheels, well, then consider yourself lucky, because it's a thing. And there was someone who made a comment on the Breaker review, and he said, imagine being an employee and having all these 40-year-olds come up to you and ask you about, to go look for a toy. Well, there's nothing wrong with it, right? It doesn't matter if you're 40 or 50 or 60 or 20 or 10. If you go up to an employee and you're respectful and you say, hey, I was just checking to see if you have this figure and you have everything. And they say, well, it says it should be on the floor. You say, it's not. Is there any way you could check in the back? If their answer is, you know what, we're not allowed to do that anymore, then you say, hey, you know what, thank you very much. If they go in the back and they come back and they say, hey, I went and looked, I couldn't find it, you say, you know what, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Again, these are collectibles, and people are collecting things all the time. It's not just toys. But being respectful isn't that fucking hard. So, Toy Object says, watching dudes in the 50s and 60s, many with disabilities, trying to run through Target to get some $1 toy cars makes me chuckle. Yeah. Crusty O'Crow says, most of Walmart's staff don't understand words like hi, and I like to return this anyways, so I don't go down that road. Asking a Walmart employee to help is almost useless. Though I have had people ask, or I have asked people, and I have had them help me, and they have actually come out with stuff. I believe the the old the Hiss 2. I think they helped me. Plastic Battles jumping in here saying, after the first Cobra Island waves, I pre-ordered everything online, and I've had only a couple issues, have multiples of everything they've released, and never had to leave my house for them. And you know what? That again, I understand that, and I agree. I like the hunt. I hate going into Target knowing that there's not going to be anything, right? That's probably the worst, or Walmart or whatever, right? I do like the hunt. I also like being able just to order shit and it just fucking show up at my house. Again, the fact that I chose to do reviews on YouTube, you are always trying to be early. If you can be first, great. If you can't, then it doesn't matter. You build a community that wants to watch what you have to say. Again, people have done breakers. It's not like I wasn't going to do it. How I did the firefighter, and hell, I think about as many people that are watching right now watch the damn video. So, Chaz the Guru jumping in here saying, I always feel weird asking about a toy, and the 20-year-old employee calls me sir. So we went and saw Superman. I said to Olivia, this is Saturday. I said to Olivia, hey, I'm going to shoot on over to Target, and I'm going to have them pull it up. And first thing I said was, I'm like, hey, can you check and see if you have this? I said, I know it's street dated for tomorrow. Oh, then we can't bring it out. I understand. I just want to know if it populates, so if I even need to go up. And he's like, oh, it's not showing up. Hold on, let me call someone. And it's always hilarious when they call someone on the walkie-talkie, and the person's like in the next aisle or over, and the guy's like, I'll help them. And like you can hear him through the microphone and everything. And then the guy comes over, he's like, oh, I don't know. Let me get someone else. And Olivia's like, dude, they've got like 4 people coming over. And when the guy pulls it up, he's like, and I can see it. He goes, we don't have any. Let me see if there's any other stores. And he's like, looks like every other store but us has 6 of them. But you can't get it till tomorrow. I'm like, no, that's fine. That way I knew. This way I knew that they were already out there, and I ran out there. But it was like a squad of people. Like, hold on, I can get someone else. I'm like, good Lord, dude. All I need is someone to plug this in. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I enjoy it, but plastic bag, I fully understand. Like, if I'm not doing reviews, I'd be like, hey, just send that thing on over. Just send it on over when it gets here. Awesome. But when you're this crazy reviewer and you do like to be early, you go out and you do it. And again, I really do enjoy the hunt. It's probably one of the worst things of this new online that we deal with that I don't. It's nice to get it, but you've lost that feel. JLS says Punk hunts at Target while wearing a ghillie suit and loudly humming the Mission Impossible theme song. Okay, so I told Tony this. He said, "Oh man, you need to mention that." So. So I go there Sunday morning, and it's warm out, so I get out like 5 minutes early, and I'm just sitting back in one of those, Target Red Balls. I know, not blue balls, guys, Red Ball. And I'm just sitting there, and I see this guy come up, and he's with his kid. His kid's pretty little, probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5. And he came walking up right as she's unlocking it. And he just walks right through it. And he's moving pretty quickly. And his son's like literally straggling behind him. And I'm like, okay. And I'm going, I'm like, man, this motherfucker's going to the same place I am. Damn it. And so he's enough in front of me. Probably like, I swear, like 10 feet in front of me. Again, if they have 6, then I'm not worried about it, right? This guy's not going to buy them all. And he turns the corner. So you're like going down the back of the aisle, We've all been to Target. Going down the back of the aisle. I get to it. I turn it. And this is like the G.I. Joe aisle is probably about 6 to 7 aisles down. I turn the corner and the kid, like the dad and the kid are gone. And I'm like, oh, maybe they weren't going here. And as I'm walking, I'm looking down each aisle and I don't see them. And I get to the aisle and I turn and they're there already. Now, he was there to get the Transformer Perceptor. And I was like, I see Breaker sitting right there. I grab Breaker, Psylocke, the Thanos 2-pack, grab that. They had the firefighter, but I already have 2 firefighters, so I don't need it. And then I start talking to the guy and we're chatting back and forth. And he goes, I saw you sitting there and I walked right through and I'm like, he's going for that Perceptor because I think Perceptor dropped that day. So he was massively trying to beat me. I won't outrace anyone. All right. These knees, they need to be saved for as much skateboarding that I have left in me. So I was not going to like race him. And let's be honest, when someone is, I don't know, 8-9 inches taller than me, they're going to fucking go faster than me. The fact that his kid was keeping up but he wasn't even there for the G.I. Joe. He did call his buddy though. And then he called his buddy and he was like, hey, they got this Breaker here. Cause he said he's no longer in the G.I. Joe. He's like, yeah, I got out of that. But it was just pretty funny. JLS says, no need to race when a flying sidekick will work just fine. You're absolutely right. Except I'm scared if I fly, like jumping isn't the problem. It's the coming down and what happens to the knees then. Mark Hartner says, on the years I worked in retail, I enjoyed helping folks, and I was one of the few working those hours who would work the paint mixer. Yeah, if you like talking to people, and I mean, again, if you're in retail, why you kind of want to talk to people, right? Those are probably the best people to talk to. Steve Martin says, I can see your ass doing the old lady power walk. No, not me, man. I have to do enough power walking when I'm walking with people at a regular speed because, 5'4" on a good day. So, but anyway, that's kind of the intro. We haven't even got any toys here. But quickly, I did want to show off a couple of the pictures that I did here. So I did get Breaker with him chewing the bubble gum since we did get this figure. With Red Nime's little computer here. And these are not his 3D printed ones. These are his actual foam ones and everything. And if you're in the background, you can see Cage's custom grunt holding part of the mask device. And then you got the that kit bashed Professor Xavier, who he's Colonel Xavier. Though I don't know why Colonel would be listening to Grunt and Breaker. And then I had to do a little bit of Thanos and Psylocke, and I thought this was a good shot here. But I just want to show you, there's no stands here. This figure can hold up Psylocke perfectly fine with one hand out, without a problem. So why they put like a hole on his hands, you don't need to do that at all. You don't need to do that at all. It's that figure stands pretty damn well. And then I had to do the Thanos copter. So no one wanted this figure. We know why they put Psylocke in it. It's to make you buy this. They wanted a 2-pack. But so far, like him holding her up is awesome. And then I'm like, I was trying to figure out how I could put him in the Dragonfly to do Thanos copter. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Turk Murphy sent me this Fang. And I think I can make him fit in it. Even though the blades are going to cut off his head. And then we have they made a trade for Cerebro right over there. And you can see Cobra Commander just drinking there, watching this guy, probably wondering how he's going to get there with his little go away mug. And I know before someone asks, how does he drink that with his mask on? Listen, you don't ask for stuff like that. So anyway, that was that. Chaz says you should have tripped the kid to slow up the dad. The kid's way faster than me. Let's be honest. That kid was going to be faster than both of us. Yeah. So, all right. So, before we get into the slides and everything, I do want to mention, which I constantly forget, is we have a Facebook group, Punks with Toys. Every now and then we get, like, unless I mention it, I don't really get people joining. It is a closed group. You have to answer three questions. All right. The moderators, well, myself, Matthew, and Tony's Figs are all the admins, and the one moderator is Jeremy Kimberlin. I don't know how he handles it. If you don't answer the questions, we delete it. I'm not going through everyone. It's 3 simple questions. It's to prove that you're not a bot or a troll. If you can't answer them, we're just going to delete it. So please, Punks with Toys, that's the Facebook group if you want to join it. It's no politics, no bullshit. It's just toys, basically me posting my own shit. And then a lot of other people recently have started to, add more and more and more. Pepper refused to answer the question. I denied them all. Yeah, it's not that hard. Like we're not asking anything that is out of the ordinary. We just want to make sure like you're not a troll, or that you just started your Facebook and you're just trying to add every single group and you're going to spam it. It's very, very easy. Johnny Reno says, I didn't know it was so hard to answer 3 questions and agree to some rules. Yeah, because Johnny's doing the gridiron one now. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Because you're like, how hard is it? Like, what's your favorite toy line? Vintage or modern? Do you agree to the rules? Not that hard. Really not that hard. Toy Optics says, how can I answer the questions about your underwear size? Medium. Hello. Anyway, that's that. Also, you guys all know the other stuff. We have Hella Dope Toys. Use my code APWT. You get 10% off your entire order at Hella Dope Toys. They're always having new stuff come in. Watch for their Mythic Legions because you can actually get 10% off. But go ahead, head on over there. Use that code APWT. The Amazon affiliate links every time you see something go out like that. Please hit the link before you order anything on Amazon. Help support the channel, which everything goes back into the channel that I do. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to let you listen to Mossman tell you about Hella Dope Toys.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, oh, Mossman, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio. So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HellaDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Mossman, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HellaDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box and I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HellaDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to helldopetoys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then, like, at the end of the month, they're like, Hella Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to helldopetoys.com and like and subscribe, and then in the comments put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not helldopetoys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
All right, quickly. Jaylen's comment saying, how hard is it? Is that one of the questions? You know, maybe I'll go change the question to that. I know Cobra Commander asked a very a serious question. He says, what do you consider vintage and modern? And Matthew always says vintage is over 20 years old. Now, I don't know if that is if that's the rule, or if Matthew's just kind of throwing it out. And even though it's hard for us to say that Power of the Force is the Power of the Force is vintage, it is. And probably because it was the modern take of Star Wars. I think because we were just at that age, it's hard for us to look back and be like, hey, we were like, our toys had passed us. We weren't playing with toys anymore. But I have to agree with Matthew. I think anything over 20 years old is vintage. The thing is, when you're going to look at a lot of stuff that's 20 years old now, you're going to be looking at it going, you know, it wasn't bad. And that's going to go for cars too. I mean, you look at cars that are 20 years old, you're like, man, this car is actually pretty damn nice. It's not, technology took such big, huge leaps and bounds that, yeah, what's 20 years old now, it doesn't seem all that old. So, and Matthew says, that's the definition of vintage, 20 years, antique is it. Okay, so that is good to know. Okay. Ed says 20 years has been the standard for antique qualification. Now, I like that Ed comes in here. And Ed, I'm glad that you were able to tell me, but it was confirmed when Matthew said it. So, Gun Bunny Custom says 30 years later, the Power of the Force toys sell for less than they sold for originally. Oh, I know. I know very well. Anyway, McFarlane Toys. This guy is still going to do toys. And a matter of fact, tomorrow, I'm going to watch it. God, I forget who it is. But he dropped there was somebody that did a live stream with them. And I guess they asked him about wanting to get if he'd go after the Diamond Select license that they had for Marvel, and I think that might be where he might be angling. I'll be interested to see. So anyway, SDCC show exclusive, this Kingdom Come Superman. I don't know. I don't have anything else with this, but I will say this. I think this actually looks pretty good. It's not something that I'm interested in, and it's not something that I think you'd want for doing toy photography, but I do think this is something that looks pretty damn cool, at least from what I can see here. I love the reds, and I love the whole background, the Kingdom Come, and you can kind of see the effects all around them. So I actually think it looks pretty damn good. Clint York, carbon scoring. Thank you very much. Yeah, carbon scoring. And I don't even know why it popped up, but it popped up. Carbon scoring was doing it. So I watched a little bit of it. So when I scroll tomorrow, I'll be like, hey, what I previously watched there. I wanted to finish that. Toy Optics says McFarlane Toys crashing and burning in real time. We'll see. Because when that license is gone, man. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Cole says, what were the parameters of Diamond Select license versus Hasbro? Who could and who couldn't make what kind of? I have no idea. I know the Diamond Select have to be their 7-inch figures, just so it fits McFarlane perfect. But Hasbro has the master license, just like they have the master license for Star Wars. So I don't know what the parameters are. I would have to assume one has to be 7 inches, and they can probably only do so many, which kind of, takes away from what McFarlane loves to do. But I would be really interested, and I don't know if in that carbon scoring interview, because I haven't watched it, if he talks any more about it. So I'm interested to watch it because I have a feeling there may be some shit that actually pops up that makes sense. Then we have this other SDCC show exclusive of a gold label Batman in gold, because I was like, you know what I need? Batman in gold. So yeah, this is here. Now TMH, it is $125, and if you're a Hasbro Pulse Premium member, it goes up at noon on Thursday. If you're not a Pulse Premium member, it goes up a week after that. So premium members have 1 week to purchase it. If they're still available after that, then they will go up for anyone. So, but yeah, but they're 125. I think it's actually, I was looking at 150. So I'm happy that it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be happy if it was 90, but it's not. Lone Dragon jumping in him, always scared to read anything he writes. The in-stock breaker I ordered the other day has charged and shipped, but my pre-order from months ago gets canceled. Yeah, we talked about that already. Believe me, I can't defend Target for that, but I also can't defend crybabies. Peacemaker here. So obviously this is John Cena. He has the eagle. It was pointed out. I know on Robo he does have his big giant gun. And am I the only one that feels like, okay, so you gave him a trigger finger, you gave him a gun, but man, he looks like he's holding that gun very awkward. like you made it so he can hold the gun, but man, did you make that shit look fucking awkward. Like there's nothing that looks natural about that. But anyway, I know Robo, when I watched his the rewind, he said the same thing. And he goes, either DC is allowing people, or Warner Brothers, whoever it is, they're allowing you to make guns, which is probably what they are. Or Todd has said, hey, I've lost the license, I don't give a shit. I really doubt that's the case, but if it was, that would be even better. Matthew says Warner got over their gun ban. Yeah, and I that's what I'm assuming. Because let's be honest, I mean, no one really wants to. That's why when people talked about the hooded Cobra Commander, they were like, Mezco would do it. I'm like, no one would. Like, no one's gonna do it unless they're allowed to. Machine Man says thumb is too short. Yeah, again, it looks awkward in so many ways. So, here we have a Beast Boy. Once again, SDCC show exclusive. I do think this figure looks good. I think we talked about this one last week. Good looking figure. I'll tell you, like, McFarlane right now, he has this chance to continue to grab all the people that have been collecting, but he's not going to be able to grab any new, any new collectors, because they're like, why would I'm going to buy this when I know someone else is getting the license? And no one knows what size. And I'm telling you, Mattel, if anyone from Mattel is watching right now, don't do 7-inch figures. Everyone wants Batman to go up against Captain America or join with Captain America. I don't fucking care. And they don't want to pay Mezco prices just to have it. And not everyone wants to pay that. So here we have the Dark Archer, Merlin, something. Someone will tell me. Someone will tell me. I can't think of what his name is. But anyway, Archer. Again, I think this looks pretty good. Again, I can't get over the giant pins, but I like the color scheme. I think the color scheme works really, really well. Um, 8.3-inch figures. Well, some McFarlane probably are. So, and I know we talked about this last week. I think this figure X really looks good, and I like the color scheme. That's what I like. And here he is, Pop Blender. Who would have thought that Breaker was such an in-demand figure? The randomness of it is so dumb. Hey, Pop, I just want to say I started reading your comment earlier this morning, and I finished right before my show. Are you mad? I wasn't able to tell if you were upset from your comment. Anyway, Merlin here is again, good looking figure if you're into the Arrowverse or anything like that. Now, I don't know where. Again, anyone that if anyone has noticed, I constantly will reference Robo because I do watch his. I watch his rewind. It actually makes it a lot easier after I kind of go through my stuff and I can kind of see if I miss something. I don't know where he got the pictures. I also wasn't going to go hunt, but there's a chase version of this that has a John Stewart head along with another head that I'm not positive. I think this figure looks really good. Now this looks like it's John Stewart probably peeking through here with a broken mask. And again, I think this looks really good. This is what is very frustrating about McFarlane is that some of his stuff is just looks so good, and then some of the other stuff you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But there is a chase variant. I think this is part of the chase variant. Dude, it does kind of look like Murderbot. Wow. You are, dude. And after I just did a whole review, I just spent 8 weeks reviewing this, or 10 weeks, or whatever Adam I did on the other channel. Wow, like, dude, yeah. Now I kind of want that just for Murderbot. And then we have some other SDCC show exclusives for Mortal Kombat. I believe these are glow in the dark. I know nothing about Mortal Kombat. So if it's something that you want, you can go get it. I'm sure it will be available. McFarlane normally puts his stuff up there. Normally puts his stuff up on his site, I believe. Cole King quickly says, I think any of the original 13 characters are going to be in demand. It's even more so since Cobra Island version of Breaker was also so hard. It really wasn't that hard to get. Initially it was, but then it came fairly easy to get. Matter of fact, they had them for like $13 like the week after. I totally missed them. It was crazy. Liquid Identity. Throw enough crap against the wall, something will eventually stick. Toddy Mac. He throws a lot of stuff against the wall too. Then we have this Doom Dark Ages, which just is a badass looking figure. Like, this is something that I feel, again, I don't know anything about Doom, like I said, other than it's a video game. This is something that you can easily fit into a display. You could have it fighting a predator. Like, this is actually kind of cool. This is something I wouldn't mind just grabbing just to do some types of pictures with, whether it be G.I. Joe fighting it. And because they're these big, I mean, I believe they're these like mech suits. I mean, how this thing looks as predator as possible with the big cannon on the side. But this thing looks really cool, to be honest. So, and then he has some Fallout, the Elite Edition. I couldn't help but look at this and think of my old friend Wraith Mace, who no longer comes around because he doesn't like me. But I couldn't help but look at him and think of his love, which is what's that brand he likes? Warhammer. That's it. I'm not the only one that gets like Warhammer vibes from Fallout, right? But this is Toddy Mac. I think these bigger mech suits actually work pretty well. But this does look pretty cool. And he doesn't have pins, so there's that. Graf says, looks like Doom and Inhumanoids. I have no idea what that is. Sean Forrester says, I think these Elite Editions are overpriced at $60. I think anything that's $60 on McFarlane is overpriced. But are people willing to pay for it? And what's the license? You know what I mean? Again, people thought that Maximum Hulk was too much at $60. And I absolutely love that figure. I've had so much fun with that figure. Look, he's still sitting right back there. You see him right over there. Look at him right over there. Why is it so hard to point with the fucking camera? Like, seriously, it shouldn't be that hard. You can see him back there, right behind the Cobra symbol. Again, like, it's $60 for a figure is expensive. I mean, no matter how you look at it. But it is one of those things where you do kind of wonder, like, if you have fun with it and you enjoy it, man, I don't regret either the Maximum like Hulk or Spider-Man, especially not the Hulk. Even though I thought I was kind of going to regret it. And again, my video also made $60 off it, so I technically didn't pay for them. So I can't complain there. Pop says, it's called Power Armor. Get it right. Don't you have another comment to leave that you need to spend like an hour to draft up? Cole Lang says, I think it's more that Fallout and Warhammer are both influenced by 2000 AD Comics Judge Dredd Nemesis. Now, I'm going to, I know nothing about Judge Dredd. I know that Warhammer has been around for a long time, and I only know because I was fucking so blown away that Warhammer has been around. So I'll let other people say if that's true or not. I just know that Warhammer has been around way longer. And when I say way longer, I mean way longer than I ever would have thought. And I have no idea anything about the lore. So, all right. And then our friends over at Super 7. Man, a lot's happened at Super 7. Let's just quickly talk about this. And our friend Brian Flynn, and I use that very loosely because I doubt he'll ever call me his friend. He has been pushed out of being the CEO and is now the CCO, Chief Content Operator, something like that. And there's a new CEO who has been brought in pretty much because it's been run into the ground. And I believe he's worked at Mattel and some other companies. So he is in the toy industry. I'll say this. Super 7 does properties I think many of us would love. But it's unfortunate of how it's been run and how it's priced. So maybe with a new person being brought in, and this is something that we speculated on a year ago with all the stuff that was happening. And obviously, when you let 70% of your workforce go just earlier this year, we can kind of see how things are run. So hopefully, because I would love for Super 7 to be good. You know, I would love for Super 7 to be good. It's just unfortunate that the person that's been in charge of making all the decisions have made the decisions that he's made. So hopefully this guy comes in and says, we need to change things. Like, look at the rest of it. It's kind of like McFarlane, but McFarlane is actually ahead when it comes to articulation. Matthew says, new CEO, nothing to see here. We're all good. Exactly. Especially after all those cuts that they recently made. But anyway, they did drop this vintage figure 2-pack, Mumra's Tomb. Now, I can only imagine that they decided, hey, let's do this because there's a lot of people that are collecting the He-Man Thundercats crossover. So let's throw this out there and see if we can get some people that want to jump in on this, because this is the squatty potty. Yes, it is Roman crying. It is Roman crying, and I can't ask my son because he's in the middle of a game, so I know he's not even going to hear me or listen. But yeah, this is one of those, this is one of those things where I feel like they jumped on this and said, hey, you know what? Let's kind of throw this out there and see if maybe we can, grab some of those people. Sean Forrester says Flynn put a real spin on this change today in an interview, but hey, who would say they screwed up that position? Sean, could you tell me where you saw an interview? Because I would be interested to watch it. Because no matter what I think about the guy and how he's run Super 7 and stuff that he does, I would be interested to hear what he said. I told you, I feel like this guy is constantly lying, unfortunately. So if you can kind of post that, not a link won't work, but if you could post where you saw that, that would be great, because I would definitely like to see that. And we have Moses Guillen jumping in here saying, who's going to buy that ugly Mumra? Well, again, I think people that are into the early, because this is something they've done before, and obviously, if you like the Thundercats Master of the Universe crossover, I think it might be something that you are that you're into. Pop Blender says, "Is this better? Me think Joe Fig's cool. Me wait till Breaker on sale. Yay, Breaker. Me love get screwed. Thanks, Larry." Well, again, Needless Things YouTube video. Thank you very much, Matthew. Note that and put it in our mods channel so I don't forget it. So I don't forget it, because I do want to see that. Thank you. All right. So Thundercats Ho here. This is an SDCC exclusive. It is the translucent Lionel. Man, I know that we talk about everyone getting the use out of their molds, but good Lord. The colors look cool. You gotta like the translucent yellow and then the blue and the red. Again, it all works. It is the proper color. But I just don't know how many times I can. Well, I'm not buying it, but how many times someone will buy a really crappy looking, articulating figure like this. So I do hope the new CEO is like, hey, we need to change this shit. G.I. Jetman jumping in and saying, what's up, Lawrence, in chat? All right. Looks like it tastes tropical. And 3-star saying, I like translucent Lionel. Sean says, this is the 5th Lionel. There's got to be more than 5 Lionels. I'll let someone else count, but I can think of, this is at least the 3rd one that I can think of right off. So it doesn't look bad, but again, you're overpaying. I think these are $65. Just again, the fact that these don't have double jointed elbows and everything and double jointed knees, just it's frustrating. There's so much that could be done. Just go look at AWalk and you're like, good Lord, there's so much that can be done. So we got Radnam jumping in here saying, what's up, Larry, in chat. We got Edward Stomanowski jumping in here saying, punks and friends toyathon. And then we have Transporter 8. I only buy Super 7 now, and when it's on discounter, I wish somebody else would make the Thundercats. There's so many people that agree. Yeah. And I think the worst thing, in all honesty, is most of their designs, if it's not Andre the Giant or the Green Power Ranger, a lot of their designs look really good. Their sculptors, they have some really good sculptors for the most part. But here's the packaging of it. Super 7 Lion-O. And then there's the front of the package. Oops. And then SH figure art. Oh, yeah. G Zimbabwe says, Transporter, get the Mattel Origins Thundercats. I'm confused. I think you're saying you want Mattel to have the Thunder. Or the original. Hold on. Oh, you're okay. You didn't add him. So I'm like, Transporter, like, talking about a fucking I thought you were talking about like Transporter, and he was like, because he's translucent, like he was looking like he was a like coming through a transporter. Anyway, and then quickly, SH Figure Arts, they showed off their Ben Reilly Spider-Man, which I don't think looks bad. I think the figure looks good, but I'm not into the cell shading all that much. Although he kind of looks like he's dirty more than anything, but I do think this figure actually looks really good. I like the Ben Reilly Spider-Man that I do have. He has some issues when it comes to just his overlay because he can't get the greatest ab crunch, but I think this figure looks really, really good. But yeah, so this is like the only picture that I had, at least when I did my slides. Maybe there's been some more that have popped up, but this is what we have right now. So looks pretty good. Again, there really wasn't that much news, believe it or not. When we get to G.I. Joe, there's a good amount of stuff. Because we didn't even talk about the digital renders, believe it or not. All right. We'll go with NECA really quick. NECA, I think there was a bunch of stuff here. So this was what this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the New Blood. I don't know, something like that. This actually showed up last week, but it was right before my show, so I wasn't gonna put it together. This guy is fucking creepy. I'm not a big horror fan, but I know that NECA is super big into this, and I know a lot of you guys love this stuff. I think the soft goods actually look really, really good. And NECA gives you some amazing accessories. And then just to have a creepy guy like this in the background of your shots. Now, the problem with NECA is that they never go on sale. I don't think anyone's ever said, hey, guess what I found on sale? NECA. I think the last thing or the only thing I probably ever seen go on sale for NECA was that Back to the Future. There's a Back to the Future figure at Target that they clearanced them out. So you don't really see them on sale too often. But here we have, I think this was kind of crazy that he comes with it looks like he comes with an abortion tool. So I don't know why they would do something like that, but whatever. But a very interesting looking figure. But NECA still gives you some of the best accessories, even when you may not want the figure, and maybe to pay for them a little bit of a little overpriced just to get the accessories. But if it's something you're interested in, you can get all these cool ass accessories. Here we have a straight razor. So, Russell Lemieux says, what are the little things with the mainframe? We haven't gotten there yet, so if someone can answer that. I don't think anyone really knows yet, to be 100% honest. It'll be interesting to hear. So, there's this clothes hanger. A creepy looking guy. Just creepy as shit. But I do like the soft goods. I think, again, take that off and maybe throw it on another figure, and you're going to have some fun with it. I got a lot of pictures of him just scratching his head with the coat hanger. Man, that guy could use. He could use some teeth. Still have better teeth than some of the YouTubers out there. So, but if you're interested, there you go. I feel like you got a lot of the same. So it comes with a wig, a hammer, a hanger, the razor, and a lighter. At least I believe that is a lighter right there. So Donald jumping in here saying, "What up? Sometimes Amazon has NECAs on sale, but not often." I didn't even know they had. Well, I'm trying to think. I think usually when Amazon gets NECA, because I don't think they get them right away. Usually, like that is independent stores that usually get them right away. I'm just going back to all the gargoyles. Anyone remember the gargoyle line? NECA? Do you remember that you have the gargoyles line? 3-star says, I need that wig for Roadblock. All right. Michael Myers. Do you think Michael Myers would go ahead and murder someone that made it look like he has that dumpy of a crotch area? Yeah, I know people love Michael Myers. He's probably the creepiest of all the actual serial killers that I can think of when it comes to that type of horror film. I always thought Halloween was way more scarier than Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Also, this guy here, I know Ed experienced it. I experienced it. Stanley Eberhardt, he moves like Michael, like he's just all of a sudden behind you, or he's all of a sudden like right by you. Like it was crazy at Joe Fest. He'd just be there, and you're like, "Damn, dude, where'd you come from, Stanley?" That was kind of our joke. They was like, he's just right there. Like he's pretty quick, man. So anyway, again, this thing looks awful. Like the suit does not look good, but I mean, he's clearly wearing a jumper. But if you're into Michael Myers and you're into Halloween, this is for you, right? Yes, yeah, 3-star says Stanley did appear out of thin air. He did. Like, it'd just be like, boom, look. And true, some bitch just showed up out of nowhere. And then Menhoza is saying Michael Myers found a size too small jumpsuit. No wonder he's so violent. And he says, Mrs. Stanley bought us pizza too. Well, I guess you were schmoozing up to her. And then you get a knife that goes into a pumpkin, because who doesn't leave butcher knives in pumpkins? Here's the knife with blood. How does he come? Oh, yeah, he comes with the hockey skate with blood. Which I don't know, man. If you've ever seen some of the unfortunate hockey disasters when they cut, oh man. So, what does this say? Crotchtacular. Wait, it says you Punk, you ate the pizza they bought also. I don't think I didn't eat anyone's pizza that someone else bought. I didn't eat any food that was bought by someone else. I know that for a fact. Last year, I ate a lot of Ed's pizza. I did not. I was constantly buying the pizza for fucking. I was constantly buying the fucking pizza. So I know if you want to talk about last year, yes, I was doing that a lot just because people had it there. But I didn't take any. I didn't like have any. At least not that I can remember. I don't think I had. I didn't have any at the pool. I mean, it might have been there, and it might have been for everyone, but I did not have any. Then I know I didn't, because I remember those garlic bites. So I started buying them with like a shit, dude. I want to go back to Joe Fest just for those fucking garlic bites right now. Yes, GI Bro says I didn't have it. Now, if she would have bought a she would have bought a salad, then GI Bro may have eaten it all. Anyway, here is Michael Myers, everything that he does come with. Oh shit. So there's his axe, his knife, the knife in the pumpkin, because I know I always left knives in the pumpkin for when kids were trick or treating. So, but yeah, but you know, we also got there late to the. We also just finished eating before we went to the pool either, so there was no reason for us to get any. But I was thinking you were saying, I thought you were saying, because like there was a lot throughout Joe Fest where people just had pizza or bites or whatever. I did eat someone whoever first got the cheese bites. Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck is that? I don't know. I believe it's something from either A Nightmare on what is it? Yeah. Nightmare on that was the Christmas movie. And that's what I assumed that it was, but it's NECA. So someone tell me, what the hell is this? Ronnie, you're crazy. GI Bro would kill you. Oh, wait a minute. What did I miss here? Ronnie says, GI Bro didn't have any, but I did get to compare his biceps to mine. And first off, when GI Bro said, Ronnie, you're crazy. No. This happened. Like, it happened, all right? We all watched it happen. I didn't get up and pose off against GI Bro, Rich. Ronnie got out and he posed up against Rich. Yes, Nightmare Before Christmas. Thank you, Lloyd. I don't know why why Nightmare on Elm Street kept coming up. Nightmare Before Christmas. And I do know that movie, okay, guys? But Ed is saying it's not Nightmare Before Christmas. Even if it's not, I just wanted to know what I was thinking that it was from. Well, what the hell is this from? Does anyone know? I don't think anyone knows. It's got to be something from Tim Burton, right? I mean, this looks exactly like something from Tim Burton. So, Caroline. Oh, you know what? I think you might be right. Although I've never seen Caroline. He'll forget. Ronnie says shirtless Ronnie versus GI Joe. Best Joe Fest moment. He meant GI Bro. Well, you have 2 years because you said you won't be coming for 2 years. So you have 2 years to start doing some curls. Just do curls and then just wear a shirt and then you don't have to worry about it. Like you don't have to see anything else. You just be one of those weird people with like like But here you go. Whatever the hell this thing is, it looks like it would fit in with anything that's Tim Burton. So if that's what you're into. And look, Mr. Wonderful, one half of the travesties, Super Kick Party. Oh, 3-star says, I have the video from that, but it did not make it into the Joe Fest video. Wait, do you have video of them? Look, here it is. It's Beauty Horror, Glow in the Dark. It's from nothing. Wait, do you have video of them like posing off? Sorry, guys. You should have been at Joe Fest at Club Tarkin, and then you would know what the hell we were talking about. Oh, yes. Sorry, Sorry, hold on. Let me find it.
I don't go through all the graphics before the show.
I don't. I mean, I kind of go through them, but I don't really pay attention to what they are. I go over NECA stuff, so I like to show off NECA stuff as long as it's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because that's nothing that I don't want to get into that. So, look at G.I. Bro saying, "Come for the title in 27, Ronnie." Okay. Toy Optic says, had to look it up. The Golinia, whatever it is, from an adult-themed coloring book. So, okay. So how the hell does Allison Troy not know? She's the coloring expert here. Oh, I guess we got to get a new coloring expert. Suspect it's your job now. You're now the coloring expert. All right. Well, we made it this far. 2 hours in. There is some G.I. Joe news. Ghoul Iana. All right, thank you. You are now you're now the adult coloring book collector insider. Eric Thurman says GI Bro pose down. It was something. Listen, I've never done competition. I've posed before, but I've never been on stage or done anything like that, right? But I've watched posing. It is so awkward to watch somebody that doesn't know how to make a bicep pose. And I'm not talking to Rich. talking. It is weird when you watch someone who's like, again, it's not what they do, but they're being funny. It's like watching a TV show or a movie where they're supposed to be an athlete and you can tell they have no idea. Ronnie, I love you, but good Lord. I was embarrassed. Yes, I am a machine. Yes, that's what we're gonna go with. Anyway, all right. So, little G.I. Joe news. Now, even some stuff that I haven't heard anyone talk about. I just happen to be perusing the Full Force Facebook page. That's normally where I get all the pictures from because Chris has them up there. And I came across this. Now, I don't know who's been paying attention. Unfortunately, Haya is not allowed to sell the 4-inch G.I. Joe figures here in the U.S., so you got to go after. But anyway, I found it kind of interesting that they drop a new render of a new figure that is based off of this guy, and Haya drops him at the same time. So here's your Range Viper Haya 4-inch figure. I have to say, I really like the colors. I don't think Haya does very well with face sculpts for human people, but when the stuff is masked, I think they do a pretty good job. And I gotta say, I think this Range Viper looks really good. All it is a classified version, scaled down to 4-inch, down to the gun and everything. But this thing looks pretty good. So I don't know if anyone else happened to see it. But man, I like this. I think the Viper, I think the Cobra Trooper, I think they look really, really good. But yeah, this is just, it is a good looking figure. Kind of like when Natalie Portman sees Thor, when he finally becomes Thor in his outfit, she's like, it's a good look. But I like the colors on this, man. I don't really mess around with the Range Viper too often. I didn't have one as a kid, but I think that this may look a little bit better than, I think the color scheme might look a little better than the classified one. So, Russell Lemieux says Range Vipers are legit. Should have got like 4 of them. Oh, it's a way better figure than I had. I don't say anticipated, because I think they've just done such a good job. I thought they did a great job of making. They did a great job of making you know that it is a helmet that is shaped like a brain, rather than like it's supposed to be a brain that's hanging out. Right? Because whenever I looked at the original Range Viper, and I didn't even know what his name was, because I was, riding my skateboard, and I would look at him like, is that supposed to be his brain hanging out? But it's supposed to be a helmet, and I thought they did a really good job. So, but for the most part, I think this figure looks really, really good. I think they did a really good job of copying Lenny's design of his copy of the Real American Hero. No, the Classified does is they take the inspiration. Like Hiya literally is allowed, and they're allowed to. I don't want to say they're allowed to do this. So, but I do think this looks pretty good there. And again, if you're interested, there are ways to get it. It's not that hard to get it, but you do pay a little bit more. I think Small Joe's actually has them, so you can order them from Small Joe's, which is a legitimate website. And there's a few other different places. Shark Guy's jumping in here saying, "What's up, Pumpkin friends?" And those of you hate watching. As long as it's at 104, 102 people now hate watching. And then, oh my gosh, we're gonna talk. We gotta talk about the poll. We'll talk about it in a second once we finish this here. There's over 100 people watching right now. But all in all, if you like this figure, if you're into the 4-inch Joes, actually they're like 4.2 inches, so they're actually kind of big. They work with 4-inch figures, but you may have a little bit of a hard time fudging them in with the O-rings. So there's everything that he does come with. He does come with a good amount of stuff. 4.1 inches, not 4.2, sorry. So, all right. So let's remove this really quick. And I want to talk about the poll that we have up here. So the 100 people watching right now. And quickly, we're going to talk about this. Last year, I started doing a streamathon, 36-hour stream, Toys for Tots, and I called it the Streamathon. I didn't want to put my name in it, but everyone continued to call it Punkathon. People said they want Punkapalooza, which Allison wants, so I guess that's what people are voting for rather than what they actually want. Either way, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to put it up there, do the poll, and this is what it is. Because understand, if you're voting because you think I don't like something, well, just understand that this is what it is forever. It's still the second annual version of it, but whatever it ends up being, this is what it's going to be. It doesn't really bother me either way. It's all for a good cause. It's all for what it's supposed to be. You kind of like that. Punkade would have been pretty good. But it doesn't get a lot of fun, right? There was nothing fun about like all those aid benefits, right? There was nothing fun about them. They're like totally depressing. So then again, after 36 hours, you kind of look depressed. um, but so I have it up here. Again, I told you guys, if you're just tuning in, you didn't hear it early on. October 24th and 25th is Friday going into Saturday. So that Friday at noon going into midnight on Saturday, we do a 36-hour stream. All proceeds, all super chats, anything given to my PayPal, it goes to Toys for Tots. I'm assuming it's going to be through Sergeant Reds again. I just got to talk to him and D. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But if you're tuning in and you're like, hey, what the hell is this fucking poll about? This is not what the name of it is this year. This is what the name of it is forever. So don't like just pick because you're like, he doesn't, I don't think he likes. As a matter of fact, I don't really mind Punkapalooza. I just don't like Lollapalooza. 10 Knight says, I prefer Larry's kids. No, I already have 2 kids that I have to take care of. All right. I don't need more. But I do think that's actually kind of funny. So if you're tuning in now, there's 122 votes and you're like, oh shit, what is this? That's the reason why it's there. And again, I want you to pick on what you really want it to be. Because again, it didn't get done with just me. I was just the idiot that was willing to sit here for 36 hours. And again, with that said, guys like Matthew and Ed were here almost as long. So there were some other people that were here a good amount. Machine Man says toys for kids about 5'4". That's just mean. All right. Back to some G.I. Joe news. And so this is the Cold Slither 45 Reaction Plus box set, which is a BBTS exclusive. So clearly this Zartan, Cold Slither Zartan, is in the classic Zartan colors. So everything on here, as you can see, is in that color. This is a BBTS exclusive. I can only imagine how much this thing is going to cost. Although, again, like, I guess they're only in charge of so much. Because I don't think the record is really, I mean, that would be dictated by Hasbro, I would assume. But if you are really into these reaction figures and you really love the Cold Slither, you can go ahead and you can order this. And maybe you just hate yourself and you're like, no, I need all of them. Well, you can get this Cold Slither box set, the zebra print. As you can see, nothing is different other than the paint. So if you wanted this I believe, from what I can tell, is actually the SDCC exclusive box set with Zartan in zebra print, because I was like, you know what I really need? A zebra Cold Slither Zartan with all the bells and whistles. So this will also be available over at I believe at Comic-Con. But don't worry, there's more, because you do have this one here, and there's the Cold Slither here, already in his classic colors, the Cold Slither stand. That is a stand. Holy shit, what do you know? Right? Is that a stand right there? It looks like that's a peg there for the Cold Slither. His guitar. He has a microphone. I don't know why Lenny didn't give a microphone. Allison says, why do you hate zebras? They're not horses. Okay, it is a stand for the foot. Okay, I didn't realize it was a foot peg. I thought it was like some sort of coin or something that came with it. And Hyatt to me says, all because someone said I'd buy a Cold Slither set, now 1,000 variants. Yeah, pretty much. So here's the regular Zartan and the Cold Slither colors. I hope that they're plan. I mean, if they're going to do Zartan, hopefully they do the other 3 figures. It doesn't make a lot of sense not to. Here's the back of it with his file card. Zartan, Master of Disguise. Not the best disguise, I'm just going to say. I feel like it'd be fairly easy for people to notice that that's Zartan. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it definitely seems like people would be able to figure that out. Look at this. Debo DNA saying Punkathon all day. Well, it is slightly winning. I think it's safe to say it's coming down between Punkapalooza and Punkathon. And I really did think it'd turn out to be Punkathon. I just didn't think it'd be that close. But we still got like an hour to go. So, all right. That's all for that shit. Now on to actual G.I. Joe Classified. And I know we talked about this on Circle of Jerks, but now, and everyone's had a week to marinate and decide what they think of this stuff. So here we go. This is what the hell's the name of this guy? Something Viper. I can't remember his name. It has nothing to do with Range Viper, although it has a Range Viper head and it has the Saw Viper's back, or Grim Viper. Thank you very much. I hear Grim and I think of that TV show Grim. That's what I think of, which kind of makes sense, right? What was that? As we said, Grogu Viper. Ooh, I'm surprised they didn't do a Jungle Bat. I think it's, yeah. I have a feeling I think a Jungle Bat would be awesome. Especially to go, you know what this was really going to go good with? I think maybe is the Jungle Skeletron figure. Anyway, it does have the Range Viper head, and then it has the Saw Viper plate carrier. Now, I think we were trying to figure it out, and I'm sure someone will correct me. I think it has Sergeant Slaughter's legs, Sergeant Slaughter or Heavy Duty. I don't remember. But the point is, I think this is going to be a bigger figure, which does explain, why they'd give him the giant Gatling gun. Now, I'm never going to use this Gatling gun. I think the Gatling gun is perfectly fine for the Ram Cycle, and I think it's actually pretty cool that they made it so it comes out of the Ram Cycle. And I do understand why they gave it over to Roadblock. But for the most part, I'm never going to use this. I have 1,000 weapons, which I've discussed this numerous times. But you never know. This may be one of those things like when you get this figure and you put that big Gatling gun in his hand, you're kind of like, this actually looks pretty damn cool. But this is supposed to be, I believe, built on a bigger buck. And again, if you're into G.I. Joe Classified, I'm assuming that's one of the reasons why you're basically here. Then you know that the Roadblock and Gung Ho are much bigger than all the other figures not named Serpentor, Road Pig, or Nemesis Immortal. John Battle saying, hey, the Grimm was a really good show. I just watched it with the wifey again. I was forced. She held me high. Hey, I didn't say anything. I've never watched it, so I was not saying if it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's what made me think of it. So I'm not insulting it. I'm just saying when I hear Grimm, that's what I think of. And then Archangel Michael Marr saying, Mr. 90-second like is here and catches bullets with teeth. Figures, please. If we have 92 likes right now, that'd be pretty cool. 94 now. Oof. I hope someone else caught more. But either way, I like the camouflage. I like this color. I do think it works really well. But when you look at this figure, this is clearly the kit bash of the wave that's supposed to be the army builder, and this is where they recoup their money. And I know people don't like hearing that because he's $1 billion company, but this is where they recoup their money, right? They say, hey, we're going to kit bash this. We already have all the accessories. We throw it together. It's an army builder. We know guys like Woody 222, the figure collector. He'll buy 84 of them. He might not buy 84, but he'll probably buy like 20. And he clearly won't be the other one. Says Bazooka and Zartan are surprisingly large too. Bazooka is, but Bazooka has different. He has a different torso, and then he has boots that don't fit properly. So he's actually a little bit shorter. And I actually think when you look at Bazooka size, I think he would have been the perfect size for Roadblock and Gung Ho because they are so much bigger. I don't think is Zartan that. I didn't think Zartan was bigger. But I mean, those are older bucks, and some of those older bucks are a little bit. I agree. Like, if you're comparing them, Lone Dragon, Sergeant Slaughter, Roadblock, Gung Ho, they're all a little bit too big. But again, it's easy to fudge. It really is easy to fudge when you kind of put them together. And Ted Knight says, cash grab, I guess. But again, if you want the line to continue, this is what a company has to do. Every company does it. And I don't care if one's $1 billion company or not. There's a reason why. But I do think this is actually pretty cool. I'll probably pick up 2. Or maybe do 1 and make him like an actual character. But all in all, again, a good looking figure and a lot of fun. Tony says Zartan and Copperhead, same buck, at least their upper half. Yeah, I just don't remember if they're taller or anything. They need to redo the big buck, smaller and pinless. Well, that's what they did with Heavy Duty. He's just not smaller, but he is pinless. So, Cal Shave says arms are huge. Ripper and Naga Hide are too. Yes, Naga Hide is also built on the big buck, but I don't think as big as, again, Roadblock and Gung Ho are the 2 biggest. And I don't know. I had the discussion with Airborne Customs. I thought Sergeant Slaughter was a little bit shorter. So either way. Then we get Mainframe. I cannot believe how many people have complained that he's boring or that he's not gray like the original. Okay. I know this is going to make a lot of people mad. They clearly are making these figures so they can put them on retro card. You look at this and that backpack, that computer, the helmet is all made to be retro card. They will do a gray version of it. Now, if you're too worried to wait and see if it happens, and you're going to take the gamble and buy this one and then buy that one, then that's on you. I don't want to hear people complain about it. I think this Mainframe looks good. He's what Mainframe is supposed to be. People have said he's boring. He's a communications guy that didn't even come with a gun with the original figure. So they gave him a pistol, which is reuse. And my guess is that computer cable right there, the cord will be the same one that is used with Breaker. So it's thinner, not as big. I love both helmet. I love the helmet and I love the head sculpt with the hat. I think it looks awesome. And I think the head sculpt is really good. I'm glad they went with a classic backpack. It's very unique, but very computerized. So again, doesn't really matter what you do. And then we have the computer, which clearly this is opened up. So I think that's actually cool. And if this type of stuff kind of highlights when you use a UV light, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Now, has anyone been able to figure out exactly what the comm devices are over here next to the 2 helmets and everything, next to the helmet? Because I know that's what people have been trying to figure out. Shark Guy says Mainframe is also a Marine. So yeah, they could have given him the M16. They love to regurgitate. So it's funny. I said the same thing about Breaker. They all should come with rifles. I'm also the same person that's constantly saying, like, I kind of want them to stop giving some weapons because I have so many that I need to use some. So, but I agree. Like every single one of these figures should have some sort of either an M16 or maybe even that submachine gun that came with torpedo, which I think is a really good fucking weapon. But I think all this looks really good. So Aerosmith, I don't think it's going to light up, but when you hit it with a black light, I think it's going to be kind of like what the wristband is on the Techno Viper. It lights up, like, well, it highlights, I guess you could say. But yeah, Todd C says he's Geek Squad. Oh, I'm trying to. I gotta note that for that picture. Matthew says they aren't comm devices. He's a computer specialist. Okay, well, he's a computer specialist. That's kind of a communications, right? I mean, I understand he's not like dial tone and breaker, but I mean, he does have a big antenna right there. So they didn't have Wi-Fi back then. Archangel says it's his hard reader for Cash App or Apple Pay. I actually kind of like that. Techno Viper repaint gauntlet. Huh. I'm not sure. I don't have a Techno Viper by me. But I see what you're looking at. I'd have to look at the Techno Viper and see how that looks. Kelshave says hacking device. Yeah, it's one of those things where, again, I'd be interested to hear what Lenny says, because Lenny, everything that he does have, whether you agree with it or not, there is a rhyme to reason for everything that he's actually showing off. So, Tim, no one knows. These are just digital renders. My guess is that they'll probably go up for pre-order probably towards the end of this month. That would be just my guess, the way they've kind of been showing them off. So, and Matthew says, no, he's not a communication specialist. He's a computer specialist. I don't care. So yeah, it's wireless connection to digital. Okay, cool. They're kind of in the same realm of things when it comes to G.I. Joe, or at least in my fucking headcanon. Okay. Jarhead says, I like it, but I think he should be older. Okay, but okay. What is older? I mean, I've looked like I was like in my fucking teens till I was 40 years old. So, I mean, we're looking at digital renders too. So, I mean, again, I think if they made him look older, then people would complain that he should look younger. So, but anyway, so there has been some controversy, some talk about them not using the Marine EGA. And that's because they don't want to pay for the rights. And then there's been a lot of people that have been talked about how this symbol, which goes all the way back to Gung Ho, and also to on Leatherneck's hat, that they try and say this looks like the German SS Eagle. And I just want to point out, they look nothing alike. Especially when this is the graphic from the skateboard that was given to me. They look nothing alike. It is the Marine knife, the Kubar carp. I don't forget what that was fucking called, with an eagle kind of wrapped around it through the earth, through the globe. And other than that, the wings are spread out like every single. Um, yeah, no, and see, it isn't. It looks nothing like it. So this is again one of those things. And so I mentioned this. I messaged Lenny, and I asked him about this, and he was absolutely blown away. No, it didn't, because if you notice, it's blurred out. It is blurred out. He was actually blown away. He had no idea that people thought that. And he said that these are all designed after military pins. Now, this is the exact same thing that Ed had said to us, who also served in the military. He said, these are designed after military pins. You can go look at them. You can, if you're looking for it, then that's on you. But dude, the Eagle's head's not even close in the same spot. He's not holding on to something. I mean, it makes no sense other than, I understand. I will say this: when you're looking at it on Gung Ho, it does not. When you're looking at it on Gung Ho, it looks weird because it's on his chest. Toy Optics says the image on the bottom of the skateboard looks nothing like the emblem that it does, because I went and fucking looked at it. Because before I was going to fucking post this and show Matthew, you're goddamn right I was going to fucking double check, because last thing I need is fucking Matthew telling me that he's right again. He's going to tell me he's right anyway, but that's a whole nother story. This is the exact same one that is on Gung Ho. But because of the way that it's made on his chest, it looks weird. Either way, the team that designs this, and this wasn't Lenny, it goes through, and he told me there's steps and there's different processes, and they double check it. It's designed after pin. So Tripwire says Matthew isn't right. He's just never wrong. And Gun Bunny says it looks like an American traditional tattoo design. Yeah, and again, we all wish they would pay for the EGA, but they don't. And this is where Hasbro's going to cut corners. But the fact that they have decided, like, hey, this is the Marine design for our G.I. Joe unit that we're going to use, and they're putting it on all the Marines. I can say this: when I talked to Lenny and I sent this to him, he was honestly blown. You can tell when someone's bullshitting and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea." He was like, he literally was like, "You're messing with me, right?" I'm like, "Dude, you like people have been saying this since Gung Ho came out, and he had no idea." So, yes, G.I. Bro, that's always bet on Matthew. But I just want to throw this in there because I had it up there. And again, when you do look at it on Gung Ho's chest, because of the way his chest is curved and everything, yeah, it does look weird. And Toy Optic says, "Okay, you are correct, Punk. I'm going off memory of Gung Ho, and at a glance, it looks and Spec. I went and looked at it because I never thought it looked like the Reich Eagle. I never did, but I understood what people were saying. But once I was, and this board's been hanging on my wall for a few months now, right? And I've really never looked at it because I'm like, it's not the Marine. I know it's, but when I started looking at the two, and I was like, oh, it doesn't have the same design to it. I mean, it has a circle to it, but the circle is completely different. So, Pop Leonard said, "Who are the fruitcakes that somehow made this connection? Someone didn't get enough love from mommy when they were younger." One of them is your co-host tomorrow. Anyway, that was all that I wanted to talk about. All right. Scorpion King here. I know there's a lot of people that are mad that he uses the Alley Viper weapons. I do not mind the SMG that the Alley Viper has. I think it's actually a very awesome weapon. I don't have a problem with it at all. The grappling hook, I think, doesn't really fit. It really fits with the Alley Viper because it's on his backpack. Although in discussions, there are a few people that said, dude, if you look at some of the stuff in the desert with the structures that are there, the grappling hook may actually come in really handy. There are some people that are really mad that they're reusing these weapons, saying it makes no sense because Mainframe got all new stuff. Are you missing all the new shit that is thrown in with this figure? And the fact that they've decided, hey, you know what? We're going to give the Alley Viper weapons. I mean, I think that is a small price to pay there. This guy has a giant fucking scorpion. He has soft goods, some bear claws, a poker, a new backpack. I mean, for the love of fucking God, like this guy has a shit ton of new stuff. Yes, he has a giant ass scorpion. So I'm confused. Like that people are that pissed off that he's using the Alley Viper weapons. Now, again, you can replace them. I don't feel you should have to replace weapons. That's what I said when they were bendy. But if you don't like them, then you have your option to change them. But looking at all this thing is fucking crazy. Matthew says 6 ball joints in the tail only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like there's 6 there. His pincers, whatever they're called, those should be articulated. I'm sure his legs are gonna move. I mean, dude, you have to cut costs somewhere, right? This is gonna be a $45 figure, maybe $50 now, right? That's what the animal companions are. I don't think this is going to be the polar bear, right? That's that's more than a 2-pack because that thing's huge. I have no connection to this figure. As a matter of fact, the only reason why I even know who this figure is because Johnny Reno sent me the O-ring, and I'm like, I was going through it the day before when they showed these off, and I'm like, shit, I have that figure. Thank you, Johnny Reno / his Cage's Custom. But yeah, so this is an animal companion. It's going to be, again, $55 or $45 unless they raise it to 50. I don't know if they have yet or not. I'm scared. I hope they don't. I mean, I think we all hope they keep it. I'm not sure what the backpack is. It looks like it's like a camera on it, maybe. Then he has a faceplate, which I don't think they've done yet. I don't think they've done a faceplate like this, other than like Zartan and stuff. Am I correct on that? But everything else, I mean, this figure looks good. And they do give you 2 different weapons. So if you don't like it, they're giving you 2 weapons. It's up to you to replace them. These are not supposed to be direct remakes of the O-ring figure. These are meant to be, these are meant to be their own version. Now that's whatever Lenny decides. That's, again, that's kind of, that drives some people nuts. Archangel says Scorpion's name is Tariff. I like that. 3-star says, yep, first swappable face. That's what I thought. Pop Blender said, I wanted this guy to be made in classified, and I'm glad he's being done. This isn't an original fig, right? Isn't it from the 25th anniversary of Pursuit of Cobra? No, it's an O-ring. No, it's from the original Real American Hero line. Is that a Travis Moody faceplate? No, Travis already got He already got Shipwreck. One of my least favorite figures. One of my least favorite O-ring figures. It's funny because it's true. But yeah, I think this looks really good. I think that thing looks awesome, but I'm not a big fan of it. It also makes me say Wrath of the Titans, right? I think it's Wrath of the Titans. Am I right? Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans. I keep saying Wrath. Clash of the Titans. I feel like I need to get. Well, what is that? The Mossman tribute figure from the Mossman tribute figure from Mythic Legions. That might go perfect with him getting stabbed, right? Yeah. And Machine Man says we have 100 likes. Thank you guys very much. 110 people watching. I definitely appreciate it. And make sure you vote and make sure you vote up here. Because that determines the name of the streamathon forever and ever and ever. All right. Here we have Sci-Fi, who I think looks really good too, for what he's supposed to be, for what he is, which is a laser trooper. Now, there's already been one idiot, and if you're watching, I don't apologize, who made a comment on Facebook and said, Sci-Fi before Flash. I'm not buying this figure just on principle alone. I'm sure the Hasbro G.I. Joe team will have a hard time sleeping knowing that you're not going to buy this, even though we know we're getting a Flash considering they've already done the weapons. But once again, goddamn Joe fucking fans are some of the biggest fucking babies. I like that they changed the gun. I thought the original gun was really stupid. It made no sense whatsoever. The backpack is very original. I love the plates. So you can have an open face. You can have the open mask. You can have a full mask. Like, they made it so you can do so many different things here. And again, I think it looks really good. It looks like this is Cobra Commander's legs. The battle armor Cobra Commander. And then we get to the splooge ball. I mean, the laser bolt. And I know some people have complained because laser bolts are straight. And then some people said, well, they should have done it, let's say, like the Ghostbusters. And it's hard to say exactly, you know what it is. James Lucas says, Matthew, greater than Wikipedia. I can agree with that because anyone can go and change Wikipedia. And then Plastic Paddle says, actually, that's a plasma, not laser. Are you serious? I have no idea. Either way, like, if they would have given just a regular laser bolt that was a plain, people would have bitched about it. And then someone also pointed how it would probably droop too. Is it? So it isn't. See, because I looked at this and it really looks like I don't have any more anymore. I don't have them anymore. They look extremely close to the Valaverse Swarm and Scarab legs, like very close to having the boot cover on it and everything. I know it's not because they're two different companies, but it just reminds me of it. But I don't have one anymore, so I might be just going off a memory that isn't there. But anyway, I do like what they did. I do believe it was confirmed by Airborne Customs. These are two different parts. So you can have the plasma blast that plugs into it, or you get the plasma splooge explosion. I don't know. But either way, So no, so we actually, I believe we talked about this on Circle of Jerks, because someone else was saying that. We're like, it's not that, and maybe it was on. It might have even been on. Might have been on Punk's Pit that we were discussing. I know a few people said that, but I don't think that it is, because I think someone went and grabbed it. Yeah, I think it was it on Punk's Pit we were talking about it, Matthew. But I understand why people said it. Like I do see why they're saying it. He would have fit in really well with the original classified design. But I don't go ahead and I don't. Early on, I'd be like, yeah, that's so and so. Now it's like there's just too many figures that they pull from, and then too many new designs that they do. Just know that whatever they did here, they are forward thinking that there's going to be another design using these legs. But I do think that they nailed what sci-fi is supposed to be. So I don't think, I think they hit exactly what they wanted. So either way, it works pretty well. It looks good. And I'm glad they changed his plasma rifle, because I thought the other one was awful. I just thought even as a kid, it just looked big, bulky, and like skinny. I never liked it. I never really cared for sci-fi that much, but this looks good. And then we get wetsuit. I always liked wetsuit. I always liked torpedo. And I will say I was really surprised that his I thought that his little device, I can't think of what it would be called, whatever it is, his little device for getting through the water. I thought they were just going to reuse exactly what they had with the divers. So I was pleasantly surprised, because this figure, all his accessories are all new tooling. So his backpack, his helmet, he's got a lot of lights. He's got a lot of lights on him. Now, if you look at the backpack, it definitely looks like it has two little pegs at the bottom. And is it for the flippers, which are new flippers too, which basically say, hey, we're getting a Hydro Viper. They just really have Hydro Viper vibes to them. That are going to plug on, because that's the one thing that I really hate. They don't have a spot for the flippers on the divers and torpedo. I like the fact that they gave him the light, although his little device has that light, and then he has lights on his helmet. Now we're getting to this. That pistol is terrible. Now, I said the same thing, but from what I understand, this is a German, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, a German underwater pistol. And I believe they looked it up, and it is a real pistol that is meant to shoot underwater. And I believe it's a German pistol. Gizambrano saying that pistol is actually based on an actual underwater firing pistol. Russian. Okay, thank you. Now, it seems kind of stupid. You'd say, well, that doesn't make any sense. But special forces like this, especially if they're underwater, like they're doing stuff like this, they'd be able to take something, like if they had this, they'd be able to use something like this more than likely. Because the special forces get to take certain things that like other people don't, right? They get to pick stuff up. So I don't really have a problem. I thought it was stupid too. I know a lot of people say it looks like the Duck Hunt. It also looks like Lobot's pistol from Star Wars. And I'm talking about the 5 POA one. It does look like it does look like a P-38, so it kind of looks like Megatron. So yeah, I said the same thing. And then people started going, that's an underwater. Now, here's what I have to say is they do their research. They give them an underwater firing pistol, maybe a Russian or not. I don't hear the people blasting them saying they did their research. But anytime they screw something up, you definitely hear how like, oh, this is what you get when you don't have military people. I don't know what Navy SEALs are going out in turquoise and yellow underwater, but it doesn't seem to be the most military look. I absolutely hate the flippers. All right, I hate the flippers. I hate everything about them. All right, I think they would look good. I think they'll look good when they come on the Hydro Viper, because the Hydro Viper has weird things like I don't like the way they look. I wish they would have went with the regular ones. So either way, other than that, I think this figure looks good. I think his head sculpt is awesome. I think they nailed it. I think they nailed it. Someone said it looks like Shooter McGavin. I definitely can see Shooter McGavin, at least a younger version of him. Hi, it's me. I'm not going to read that, but I did see it. Turquoise blends in with water, but I don't think in the Navy it does. And yellow definitely does not. Actually, it works well underwater. Colors would okay. I do get that. I've just never seen any like. I never saw in SEAL Team or in any of these military movies them coming in like this. And Gun Bunny says, still looks terrible. The Lopot pistol was a special Scandinavian air pistol that shoots in floating mining sites. Okay. But if it's designed after a real weapon, you have to give them credit when people take away all the credit. That's all I'm saying. And again, I don't have to use it, right? It's probably going to be holstered most of the time. But the fact that it's an actual underwater firing pistol, I think it's pretty good. And then we got Cold Slither. Again, if you've missed it, $125 for this whole pack. It does go on sale for Pulse Premium members on Thursday, up for a week. So through San Diego Comic-Con. Now you can get it if you're at SDCC. You can go pick it up. And these are all things that we've already seen. I think the packaging is amazing. Again, I'm very surprised that this thing is only $125. And if anyone from Hasbro is listening, doesn't mean I wanted to pay more. I'm happily surprised. But yeah. And once again, I believe Shooting the Galaxy did all these. They look absolutely amazing. This guy, he's an amazing photographer. I like the box. And Emily talked about it like, hey, if you're an inbox collector, the box is going to open up so you can showcase it like they're on stage. Again, they don't have microphones. I'm sorry, Lenny. You can't get away from it. You can't get away that you didn't give these microphones. Here's the bottom of the box. We kind of see everything here. You get the motorcycle. Again, this is something you got to put out and have like people filing in, right? There's so much that can be done with this, in my opinion. Tripwire 788 says it's up for a week, but sold out in 20 seconds. Well, they can't fully control that. I know they could say they could make more, but hey. And then I love the back. Like when they're out, you can see the big snake there. Then we have Buzzer playing the drums, Cold Slither. And poor Poor Monkey Wrench. He didn't get anything. But if you look here, we have Road Pig's Cinder Block. We have Dreadnoks the Enemy. That's going back to the Real American Hero line. I'm going to be really, really interested. Hopefully I get this, that I can go ahead and look at everything and see what's all on it. So you get Average Joe's, which is smashed. Here we have Gem and the Hologram. Now, someone pointed out that if you look here, the Cobra symbol is actually going painted over the that gem. So, and it's one night only. But I do wonder, I mean, I know we discussed it, I think on Punk's Pit, if they would do a gem, a gem, what was it, a 3-pack? And classified. Be very interested. That would be a nice PulseCon exclusive. There's this guitar. We've seen all these. That's why I'm just kind of skipping through them. But here's everything that you get. No microphones. And that's it. And hold on. All right. So that's all the G.I. Joe news. At least for right now. But again, if you're a Hasbro Pulse Premium member, you're going to have a chance to get to it. The fact that they're giving it a week makes me think that they're making a large allotment of them. Because usually it's like maybe a day if you're lucky, usually. But this is what people said they wanted. And then I heard people complaining, 3-star, that they wanted something. Like, hey, oh, so you give us, an hour or 2 hours, right? Well, they're giving you a whole week. And by doing that, it makes me think like they're planning on having a fairly big allotment of them. Because why would you even decide on a week if you don't if you think it's going to sell out in an hour? Just my thinking. DJ Mr. McFly jumping in here saying they did really good promo. Dude, Shooting the Galaxy always does, but you are absolutely correct, man. He does some amazing stuff. I wish I had half that talent. Toy Optic says failure. These will be at Ross. Who knew that Spec had any type of personality after watching him on a Toy Kind of Mood for so long? And not to mention, you give Spec like a day to sit there and go through the G.I. Joe Facebook groups, and he's going to come back with so much bullshit. It is 125. It's up on Pulse now. Like you can go see it up on. Oh wait, sorry. Here, it's 125. It's up on Pulse. Like it tells you when it goes up on order. So, I have no personality. This is just AI. So anyway, so quickly, I want to mention tomorrow I do Circle of Jerks along with Spec, who's here, Baldy, Tony's Figs, and Terry. And then not right after that, but shortly after that, first moderator, Ed, Action Figs, along with Travesty 1. He'd actually be Travesty 2, I think. Mr. Wonderful. They do a show. And then after that, or actually during there, is at 10 o'clock, we have my other moderator, Matthew Matson, along with Pop Blender, who is somewhere along, and I know he's still in here. They also do a show. Now, one of these people have given me a commercial. They also need to update it. But I'm going to play that right now so I can take a break.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, The prospectus provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode. And hit that bell notification.
And Lone Dragon says, Circle of what? Never heard of it. Huh. That is very interesting. I assumed everyone's been watching it, so.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
It's never not going to make me laugh. And then we had Charlotte jumping in here saying, a member for 9 months, so you know what you're going to get. You get a...
Fucking Phil Collins.
And then we had, let's see, where was it? Backwoods jumping in here. So maybe if they add a microphone to the HasLab, it'll fund. It's going to fund. I mean, hell, it's sitting at... It needs less than 800 or just over 800 to fund. It's going to fund, guys. I know it's making... I know people love it. They're sending their message to Hasbro, but yeah. And then James Lucas jumping in and saying, a member for 20 months. Man, that's over fucking 2 years. Can you believe that shit? So you get a...
Fucking Phil Collins.
And I appreciate all you channel members. Thank you very much. You made Punk's Pit a lot of fun. All right, so it's been 3 fucking hours. Anyway, I want to talk about what the future of the G.I. Joe is. And sadly, I don't think that this has ever been answered. And I know people have asked it from different toy tubers to different personalities that, you know, are on Facebook or whatever. They want to know. And, you know, I think it's safe to say that 1/18 is not the future, at least not the foreseeable future. And that means 4-inch, modern 4-inch or O-ring. You know, Super 7 is trying to do it. And I don't think that I don't think it's as popular as some people might want it to be. I think that at that scale, it really leads to having vehicles. And if there's no vehicles, then does it really matter? I mean, it does to me. I also don't think that it's the right company that's doing the O-ring figures, but that's neither here nor there. You know, their figures aren't that much worse than what Hasbro did when they did their O-rings. I thought they were a pretty cheap version. And when you look at the modern 4-inch, which they've stopped making, they're letting Haya do it. Haya is just recreating the classified. So then we move to classified, and we gotta ask, is classified what the future is? And I think 6-inch, I don't think it's anywhere. I think it's here to stay. I know. If you say something like, yeah, 6 inches here to stay, you have to. That's what she said. But you know, it's definitely one of those things where I think classified is where the line is. But when I ask what is the future of G.I. Joe, what I'm really asking is, what iteration are you going to do? A Real American Hero, and even though it's still being written by Larry Hama, and to me, that is, you know, that is G.I. Joe in a nutshell. When I think about Star Wars, I think about what George Lucas wrote. Yes, there have been some other adaptions that I think are pretty good and decent, but for the most part, it's what George Lucas wrote. When I think of G.I. Joe, and I know there was G.I. Joe before Real American Hero, but to me, it'll be what Larry Hama wrote. But he's not going to be around forever, and believe me, I don't want him to go. I don't want anyone to die. That's probably not true either. Anyway, but you know, the Real American Hero, it's still loosely based off Vietnam in some of the aspects of how they look. Now, sure, there are ninjas. It's weird because I hear people mad at the G.I. Joe team because they don't, this is what happens when you don't have military people making the figures yet. Before that, there was guys that made guys without shirts that ran around with swords and nunchucks, and there's ninjas and all kinds of weird stuff like that. But how long can that go on? At what point is there another generation that comes in? Do they take over? Do they just continue to lay into what was based off of Vietnam era? I think Footloose is awesome. Footloose is still based off the Vietnam era. Same with Grunt and Dial Tone, not Dial Tone, Breaker. Then you see guys like Dial Tone who are way more futuristic or sci-fi. Or is G.I. Joe going to be based off the Energon Universe? Is that what the future should be? And I absolutely love, and I do mean I absolutely love what Larry Hama is doing. And I love the classified line. And I like that they are recreating a lot of what we had. I also want to see an update, and I want to see changes, and I want to see new figures because I want this line to continue on. I want kids to get involved in it and look at it down the road. But is the future of G.I. Joe the Energon Universe? There has been, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but Kirkman supposedly sold a script or a idea of doing a Energon cartoon, and that would encompass Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, Micronauts, and I think there's another one I can't remember. You guys would know. But is that what the future of G.I. Joe is? Should that be the future of G.I. Joe? When you think about it, it seems like they tend to grab a lot of the figures that are redesigned and are using them in the Energon universe. Raw Talk Raw Dio says shelf space will kill it. Big ass vehicles, HasLab HasLab once every year will not world build fast enough. I'm almost complete with my O-rings from 82 to 2006. But it's not just that too. Void Rivals, thank you. But it's not just the figures and the size of it. It also has to do with like what should they do? Should they continue to rehash the same figures over and over and over? Or try and do what originally they were trying to do with the classified line, but people hated it. But now that you have this other media, which is Energon, and I don't read it, but I have not heard anything but wonderful stuff about it. And that goes from guys like Matthew, who have read the whole Real American Hero and love it. And these are G.I. Joe guys, and these are non-G.I. Joe guys that read it, and they're like, this is awesome. The book, if you look at it, is selling absolutely amazing for comics today. So is that where the line should go? Is it time to break away from being mostly a Real American Hero and move on. Is that where the future should go? And I think that it's time to say yes. I mean, I love it, but I want to see new characters. And I know in the Energon universe they're creating new characters. I have a hard time believing that they're not creating new characters in A Real American Hero. I mean, Larry Hama is anything but an idiot. The guy is very smart to create what he's created. But I think it's time to that's the future that we should be seeing. And I hope that I think it's time that Lenny and them should say, hey, this is Classified. Classified is going to be built off the Energon universe. And our retro card is going to be built off the Larry Hama universe. And I think that you would have them. I think you would have exactly what people, want. The Lilith jumping in here saying, if you want the younger generation kids to get involved in GI in Joe, then you might have to look at doing something fresh, but your older generation of collectors won't support it and it will fail. And that's the fucking problem. I agree with you 100%. Like and that was the problem with when Classified started, right? Like it was supposed to be built off that video game, which didn't do well. So that's a problem in itself right there. But, they needed something new and they were trying something new and then nobody wanted it. So they listened and they course corrected. But I definitely do agree like that's something different, that they need to do something completely new. And I think that's what Energon is doing. And it sounds like people are enjoying it. And that goes for Transformers and everything else too. Toy Optic says G.I. Joe Renegades was such a great refresh. Shame it didn't stick and only lasted a season. And it's weird because there's been a lot of different iterations of G.I. Joe, but it always comes back to A Real American Hero. In my opinion. I'm just trying to read some of these comments here. But yeah, there's just, again, there's a lot of different things that they could do, but I do feel, or that I fear. And again, there are kids that buy G.I. Joe. There are. Other people, I mean, I've been at Sergeant Red's and I've watched, a 7-8-year-old come in and ask where the G.I. Joe Classified section is. There's not enough of them, but there are kids that do enjoy it. But for the most part, yeah, it is 40 and 50-year-olds that are collecting it. Now, if you start to grab this Energon and you're like, hey, there's a comic, and if they actually sell a cartoon that encompasses the Transformers and G.I. Joe, and then the other, the other aspects of it, Mask, Void Rivals, and Micronauts, then awesome. Because kids, I believe, still read comics. And maybe you can grab them. So, and Johnny Reno says, my nephew buys G.I. Joe, Lawrence. But is that because of you, or is that something that he saw and he went, hey? You know what I mean? And again, I mean it. Is it because you bought it and he's been around it with you and obviously your brother and everything, that's what makes him do that? The Lilith says they start fresh with Classified, but it got too much flack, and Hasbro listened and hit reverse and turn out stuff that what older collectors wanted, and that's why it's not attracting new younger audiences. I agree and disagree. And what I mean by that is I feel like the way they were going with Classified wasn't going to sustain a younger audience. And that's because I just don't think the figures were that compelling. And they need a story. And because the game tanked, the line was going to struggle too. But they did listen, and they said, hey, this is where the money's at, and this is what they're asking for. But also, there's no reason why they can't. There's also no reason why they can't incorporate both of them. I've laughed when people have said Well, that first Duke, how is he supposed to fit in with all these military figures? Did you just see Sci-Fi? You seen fucking Dial Tone? I mean, they've always had weird aspects like that. So it's just, that's one of the issues. Bobby Wold says, I share the original cartoons with my daughter and they love them. My 3-year-old is absolutely obsessed with the DIC commercials. A series. How am I saying commercials? And again, I think kids also will like things that we like. Okay. Like, my daughter and I have been watching Buffy and Angel, right? Because I like it. And I get to go to Superman because I like it. But without that media, we definitely need, we need something to change. And I do hope that there is a Energon Universe cartoon series that is sold, that is seen on Amazon Prime or Netflix, that it's good enough for adults, but also okay for kids to watch. And I've said it before. You go back and you look at Teen Titans Go. Okay, what you guys say? Teen Titans Go is fucking awesome. It's literally called Yo Joe. Like, you had a cartoon there. It's like it's right there, and it would have grabbed kids' attention. And then you have an older version of it that, as they get older, they go, "Oh shit, look at this! These characters are also here, and I can gravitate to this and like it." Yeah, Lily says G.I. Joe always flirted with sci-fi, even 12-inch and a Real American Hero. Oh, Real American Hero. I started off with the Laser Trooper and the OGs. Yet everyone seems to forget that when they want to say that, it's a pure military line. I don't know. Have you seen the Flak? But again, I just think that there's so much room for this brand to still grow. And I don't think G.I. Joe will ever die off. And that's because there's been so many iterations going to this here, right? Again, if you don't have this in hand, I think when most people get this, dude, you just have this perfect fucking firefighter that can fit in with your Marvel Legends, obviously your G.I. Joe, your Valaverse, if that's what you're collecting, Fresh Monkey Fiction. And I think the police officer, more people want a police officer than want a firefighter. Once again, I look at that firefighter, I'm like, it's just so damn good. It's like a little statue. And that's something that I think as some of those go on, people will want that type of stuff. But there's only certain ones that are going to be, I think, huge hitters. And I think the police officer will be. But is that where they go? Do they go with more of a first responder? I mean, clearly they're going there now, but do they go all generic, like the Marine sniper and he technically wasn't a pilot, so the Halo jumper, the diver, all those guys. I mean, there's just so many different things that they can do. And I hope that they do, because I want this line I want this fucking classified line to go on forever. I want it to force me to buy a new house with more room, or kick my son out, one or the other. Delta 17, Steve jumping in and saying the cop dude is really good. They definitely need to make that. Oh, I mean, I'm assuming that things are, if it's not already done and on the water, it's getting ready to be done. Again, Steve, you make toys. You know how it goes. They didn't cancel it. And I think, it was kind of, I still think that it was wrong what they did. And for many reasons, I kind of talked about that. But it is one of those things where it's like, there's still a lot that can be done with G.I. Joe. But do they have a direction on where they want to go? I feel like we direct them too much in many ways. And yeah, you have to follow where the money is. I mean, that's why they're a toy company, to make money. Don't let any of these fucking companies tell you that they're not there to make some money. You may want to make good product, but you also want to make money, or else your product ain't gonna be around. But it is one of those, like, we have, they have to decide on how they want the future of this to go. Because I do believe that just hanging on the 40 and 50-year-old collectors, which we're the ones with the money right now, if we get out of collecting as we get older, because we have other needs, do the next 40-year-olds, what are they coming in for? Now, maybe Hasbro doesn't care, because they're just, hey, you know what? We will reinvent G.I. Joe again, as we always have. It is our brand. We can do everything that we want. We can change things as we want. Toy Optic says, my wife wishes I got out of collecting last week. The Lilith says, the money is with adult collectors as they get deeper pockets. Yeah, I agree. But you also got to get those kids in. And they tried doing it with the movie. All right. I'd say it's not their fault that the movie failed, but it kind of is, because they leave the same person in charge of directing it. But maybe that's the future. A good movie. And I've said it before, like, Larry Hama has written over 300 scripts for them. They just need to be adapted into this day and age. I mean, you can go back and look at exactly what, how a Real American Hero started. Take different aspects. You go back to, the history of Snake Eye, Storm Shadow, and Stalker, right? That whole LARP team. Like, that's where you can do it. And it doesn't have to be Vietnam. It doesn't. All right? You still have special forces that are doing stuff like that. You can translate all that into this day and age. And maybe that's what it needs. A good movie. And then action figures to go with it. They don't even need that as of right now, because they have good action figures. That's the one thing that you can say G.I. Joe does have. Really good action figures. I'm kind of surrounded by a whole shitload of them. Even more if I go downstairs. But that was kind of it. I just, just wondering, like, what the future is. Because I don't think they even know. They're creating figures that are still based off of the 80s, which again goes back to Vietnam. Very few people, and there are some people in this chat right now that have a problem with these figures that are even being made in Vietnam, because they still hold a grudge. Again, I think Japan, some of the Japanese probably still hold a grudge against us, and it's kind of hard to blame them. But yeah, it is definitely one of those very interesting things, because I don't think they've ever looked at it. Transformers, it's not difficult to see where the future is. Once again, hey kid, it's a car that turns into a fucking robot. Not that hard to sell that. But yeah, and as kids grow and they get in again. I know I was like, toys are dead. No, like, when the 18-year-olds now are in their 30s and 40s and they're collecting and they get into toys, they're just going to want toys of stuff that they played with, whether it be Minecraft or Destiny or Fortnite. It's going to be stuff like that. And that's just how it is, right? I mean, I don't think that that's a huge issue, but it's kind of a thought that I had of, like, where is the G.I. Joe? Like, what is the future of it? I don't think anyone really knows. I would love to have a sit down. I'd love to have a sit down where Lenny can just kind of tell me what his true vision is of the future. But I think the other thing that people have to understand is he isn't the visionary of G.I. Joe. He's the visionary of the action figures. Is Kirkman the actual visionary of what G.I. Joe will become? Because I don't think that we can sit there and say that Larry Hama is the, that Larry Hama is the visionary. Who knows how much longer he's going to do it? Is he preparing someone? Is there someone that works hand in hand with him to say, hey, you're going to take the book over when I'm done? I want you to be the one to run this for the next 20 to 30 years. Matthew says, yeah, Hama isn't the future. He can't be. He's in his fucking 80s, And again, I'm not saying I expect him to, die tomorrow, but you're in your 80s. I think we all can agree you have less years ahead of you than behind you. I don't even like thinking I might at 49. I'm living to at least 100. But again, is there someone else though? So when I say is Hama the future, is a real American hero the future? Is there somebody that's going to take over? Is there someone that, I don't like using the word grooming, but someone that he is grooming to take over? Not Rachel jumps in saying Stephen Colbert will be looking for a job next year. Yes, he will be. Yes, he will be. I love the Colbert Report. Absolutely love that show. So much fun. But I think I just think that there's a lot that they still need to figure out. I don't think anyone really knows what the future is. I think they wanted a future. I think Lenny was like, they were going to do a game. The games failed. The movies have failed, and there's plenty of reasons for all of it. I mean, I think the movies have failed because they have the wrong person in charge of them. The video games, well, if you don't get a good studio to do the video games, what does it matter? The owner of, the creator of Fortnite, he put Snake Eyes in it. It didn't really do that well. He puts those characters in because he's a child of the 80s that loves this stuff. I watched an interview with him. He wants to put these things in here. It's not companies going to him saying, hey, we want to put this in here for a quick marketing ploy. He goes to them. So it's just, again, I hope G.I. Joe goes on real long. I hope it goes on for the next 10 fucking years. I love this shit. All right, obviously. And if it went away, I'd find something else, clearly. But yeah. And then Pop, sometimes people are just funny. You know that, right? Sometimes people can just be funny. It doesn't always have to be. I don't really care what someone's political view is. I think you know what I do on Tuesdays? I watch Jon Stewart because he makes me fucking laugh. And God knows he thinks one way. Doesn't mean I think his way, doesn't mean I don't think his way. I just find him fucking funny. Colbert was the same way. And a lot of people think he's funny. Okay, well, once again, you're allowed to have your opinion, Pop. But Colbert was really funny. So anyway, Graf says it won't end until you have a classified USS flag with a bunch of shipwrecks on it. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. But anyway. Okay, so just to say this, I don't think Colbert was a good choice for the Tonight Show. Because Colbert was he played a wonderful character on the Colbert Report. But when he switched over to late night, he had to be himself. So there's a difference between saying that. It's like saying, hey, Michael Scott's fucking hilarious, and you telling me Stephen Carell isn't because of his politics. No, I'm talking about the character of the Colbert Report. There's a reason why I don't really watch I don't watch late night. That's the difference. But see, Pop, I'm going to disagree with you. But I'm not going to get into this because this is not a political show. All because one person said fucking Colbert would need a job next fucking year. Thank you, whoever the fuck you were. I'm blaming you for this shit. Anyway, I think that's it. 3.5 hours. I'm beat. I have a show to do tomorrow. Hey, Spec, are you still here? Do we have a thumbnail? Do we have a link? Do we have anything? Baldy is the fucking worst procrastinator in the fucking goddamn world on YouTube. Oh, we do. Okay. He really needs to start. He really needs to start putting it out before I go fucking live. I feel like I pointed out to him. I'm busy Monday nights, so it'd be nice to have this shit ahead of time. But hey, what the fuck do I know? Well, you need to get on that guy. He's too busy fucking bitching about Colbert and then being mad that fucking Breaker got fucking canceled into that Target. See how this works? Arsenio was no Magic Johnson or Chevy Chase. And Chevy Chase had a fucking talk show. Kind of. Same with Magic Johnson. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Once again, if you haven't voted, it doesn't really matter. Punkathon is clearly the winner, 46%. Let me write it down. This is what everyone kept calling it, just so you guys know. You guys kept calling it Punkathon. It was not my choice. So it's not going to be stream punk. Although as I get older, the stream is there more often. And Cobra 88 thanks, Punk. See you in the circles tomorrow. We will be there. Anyway, thank you guys all for all the votes. There will be more to come about the 36-hour Punkathon, Toys for Tots. I got to start getting with everyone and start getting that ready. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I will see you guys all tomorrow on Circle the Jerks, 6:30 p.m. Take care.